Guys, from everybody here at The Buzz, we want to thank you for tuning in to the Working Fans Christmas special. This is just a clip show we put together, like I said at the top. And it's kind of wild for me to see the progression that the podcast has made. You could see in the early episodes, sound quality was a little shoddy here and there. The decorations behind me weren't fully formed yet. I was still putting things up. But Merry Christmas. We hope you're enjoying time with your family. And this special is brought to you by the Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 1. If you didn't buy somebody in your family this book for Christmas, get it for them after Christmas, filled with 35 short stories. There's NWA champs, light heavyweight champs. There are wrestlers all across the board. This is filled with pictures. This is an amazing book. You can get it at WrestleVille.com or LanceByChance.com. And it is written by the same man that wrote Lance by Chance, Wrestling is a Von Erich. You heard us talk about it earlier this year. And it's great that in the same year we can bring you two books written by the same author. So please go out and support Vinnie Barry.
Now we're going to go on to something that I don't think you're going to mind shitting on the whole industry. We're giving a 2020 report card. We're going to get your grade, and then we'll fill you into what me and Dave did this week. Now, we're going to start off with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Both me and Dave were guilty of not watching as much as we would have cared to this year.
It was a little difficult to watch as much New Japan, I think, just because of how much wrestling is out there right now. We've all struggled. I mean, we've all had to make decisions at different times. Are we going to watch MLW? Are we going to watch NWA? Are we watching New Japan? Are we watching? There's so much wrestling out there right now,
and they took so much of the year off that returning at the latter half, it's like we got AEW pay-per-views. NXT has showed out big with Halloween Havoc and things like that. So I see what you mean. Certain things take up your time.
Well, it's also hard to give a report card on a year where so many places had to take time off due to government restrictions, due to local restrictions, not being able to run places. I mean, how do we grade Lucha Underground this year, really?
I don't know. Dave gave New Japan a B. I thought they were B minus C plus. Now, half of this is just how much I've paid attention. So, I mean,
I think the B minus is the way to go. I think in between the two, I think in between the C plus and the B, I think that they've done what they can. A lot of it's going to hinge on Wrestle Kingdom coming up, which is obviously 2021, but they were red hot with Wrestle Kingdom last year. And then all the shit hit the fan, and they had no chance to really follow up any of that. By the time they were able to follow up their storylines, you're 4 months down the road. So how do you follow up on that?
They did have some hot matches in the G1, too. I want to say night 13, if I remember correctly, had some really hot matches. So there was quality stuff out there, but maybe we weren't paying enough attention to it. But, you know.
They had Suzuki Moxley early in the year, and that was a dream match we were waiting to see.
And Archer Moxley. I think that was his show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of having belts on the Gaijins, or how do you say it?
Gaijins?
Gaijins, there you go. I'm not a big fan of that because it makes it harder for them to defend the belts on a regular basis when they're spending most of their time in other promotions. So
normally it wouldn't be a problem, but with the travel restrictions, it has really fucked that U.S. title scene. And what are you going to do with Moxley?
And that's what I'm saying. It's going to make it awful hard to have Moxley travel. How do you have a guy? First of all, the guy's wife's at home pregnant. So does he want to take a chance at traveling, picking up something and bringing it home to his wife? It's going to make it very tough.
Definitely now
about New Japan.
Yeah.
He knows his shit.
We're coming to you, Daniel. We're coming to you. I promise. But that is one of the matches of the year. Definitely.
Yeah. What's your grade, Daniel, for the New Japan?
Daniel, throw us a grade in there, buddy.
Now, AJ, ROH. What would you give them for a grade this year?
I was a big fan of the tournament, the championship tournament that they had. Well, I think that the way that they did that, I think that it was a great setup. It made it so that it wasn't quite as important to have the crowds in there. And I think it was very smart the way they divided it up. So I'm actually going to give them a B. The reason why I'm giving them a B is because a lot of the talent hasn't been elevated necessarily to a mainstream audience. So I can't give them like an A, But as far as it goes for just pure wrestling, I'm going to give him a B.
Now, Dave, you gave him a C. What was your thought process again behind that?
I like the tournament, like he said. I like the video packages, which AJ will tell you I'm a bigger fan of video package than he is. They did a really good job. But it was just hard to get back into Ring of Honor because of, like AJ said, like I've just been personally so busy, and I started to invest time in different wrestling products. And with no crowd, sometimes it's just hard for me to stay focused. And not to jump ahead, but I said this on the podcast, and we'll see if AJ agrees with me. The one company for me that's personally done it the best, and I can't even explain why, with no crowd at all, is Impact. I can't tell you why. I don't know what they're doing, but for some reason, I don't notice the silence as much. But
it's just
anyway.
It's clicking. I think Dave will agree with me on this too, because we both watched the tournament. One of the breakout stars you could put for 2020, and the reason why I didn't put him out there was because he's in because Ring of Honor is such a small promotion right now that it's hard to call him a breakout. Jonathan Gresham was absolutely fantastic in that tournament.
100%. That's why I gave them a C+. I thought that tournament really made wrestling look like a sport, much like I think MLW's presenting it. And just what it did for Jonathan Gresham, making him look like a killer. And him and that Jay Lethal tag team final battle this year, I wasn't as excited for it as I was in past years, but it was a good show. So ROH did show out well. Now, Dave, you brought up Impact earlier. AJ, what's your Impact grade?
Impact is taking the right steps. I mean, they've got a parent company finally who seems to have a grasp on how to handle the product. They've got leadership in the right places with Don Callis. They're just doing things the right way right now. I would like to see them have more of a relationship with the Working Fans podcast. I think that would help build them. However,
there is a connection with the Buzz Podcast Network. Alex Benison has that in, and we are hoping to get some of those interviews.
We're looking to get that trickle down effect. Alex, holler at the boys.
Alex, feel free to throw us a bone here.
Whatever you got your leftovers, we'll take, baby. We'll take.
Ross knows our name, but he's cool with us.
But they did a great job as the year went on. They struggled a little bit like a lot of companies early in the year. But like Dave said, there's just something going on, even without audience members there, that's clicking. And they've got so much talent on their roster. Even losing the Rascals, they still have a tremendously good youth movement going on there. Picking up Deonna Purrazzo was a good stroke, too, for the women's division. Jordan Grace is fantastic. Eddie Edwards continues to kill it. They just signed Sami Callihan to a 2-year extension today. How's that for breaking news? Just to show you how much we pay attention.
Journalists over here.
And then
gotta get your press credentials, baby.
So I'm actually going to give Impact B+ to an A.
Yeah, and now they got that association with AEW too. So
you actually rated them higher. Me and Dave both thought they were Bs. I thought they did a great job this year, but I don't know why I didn't give them that higher rating, because I have been a fan of what they're doing. They're bringing back that Knockouts tag title. We like a reality segment, and we hate reality TV.
Yeah. And I do. You know me. I don't like crap like that. But even that freaking weird-ass Wrestle House that they did was entertaining because of the people that they had in it. Who doesn't? If you don't love Johnny Swinger playing the old-fashioned, when I broke in the early 90s, or for
so he's playing the AJ Strange brew of the Impact roster.
It's pretty. That's exactly what I'm saying. He's playing that old kayfabe character. Who, and Johnny Swinger is somebody who, for most of his career, wasn't used correctly. Early on in his career, he could wrestle his ass off.
AJ Strange had that fanny pack with the pharmaceuticals in it, too. Don't worry about
it. Now, AJ, we know you're not afraid to cut loose. So what is your grade for Raw for the year? And you want to get everybody in the comments section mad at you.
All right, let's piss everybody
Raw.
Let's piss everybody off real quick, but
he likes it raw.
Let me tell you this ahead of time.
Or maybe not.
because people are going to say that people are going to say I'm incredibly negative, but it does actually come from a place of love. I love pro wrestling. I love it when it's done correctly. I love it when everybody is flowing, and I want the WWE to give the fans what they're looking for. So we'll start off with some positives first. How's that? Randy Orton, fantastic. Randy Orton is a
I thought I was
gem.
going to say Randy Oscar again.
That's a shoot, brother. Randy Oscar.
I'm sure Yvonne DeBorg is going to love this, but Randy Orton, to me, absolutely fantastic this year. It's the best I've ever seen him. His storylines with Edge, his storylines with The Fiend, he's killing it. Absolutely fantastic. Literally killing it. But Alexa Bliss on Raw, fantastic. Drew McIntyre, fantastic. Everything else on the card, the drizzling shits.
Raw was my least favorite show this year.
I think that they did a great job with those major segments, and that's wonderful for 20 minutes of a 3-hour show. But when you're watching 20 minutes, which is great, and you're watching 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is crap, it's very hard to watch.
I'm going to give some background to something here, and AJ can correct me if I'm wrong on this. His schedule when he watches wrestling too, like AJ will watch NXT and AEW. Now AJ's always going to pick whatever promotion is going against WWE first. Usually, he will try to support them. That's fine, but he'll make it a point to try to watch NXT, and he watches NXT 90% of the time. SmackDown, because of his Friday schedule, was always a hard schedule, but I think he's been catching up on SmackDown more now.
Mm-hmm.
But Raw just fits right into his schedule, like where he'll always watch it. And he probably watches more Raw than he actually wants to. So that's probably even hurting it even more, I would imagine. Because I've had a hard time watching Raw recently because of my schedule, and I'm not really upset about it. So.
I will be clear about one thing. There is one other group on Raw that I really like, and no, it's not Retribution. It's actually the Hurt Business, or if you're Chuck Winchester, the Hurt Locker. But the Hurt Business, I think, has done a great job of bringing back Shelton Benjamin, elevating freaking Bobby Lashley finally to a main event player. They've brought Cedric Alexander, who is going to be a breakout star, and you've got freaking MVP, who's a great mouthpiece. So them overall is another high spot to them. But I agree with Dan Backley. Sorry. I agree with Dan. C- at the best. And that's actually being generous.
That's if we don't want to fail anybody this year, then
but as far as I'm concerned, if there's got to be one F out of all the wrestling I've watched this year, it's them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me and Dave gave it 2 Fs for get fucked. But how do you view SmackDown versus Raw?
It's not even close. SmackDown is about 1,000,000 times better than Raw. Dave knows through the years I've always liked SmackDown better than Raw because early on, SmackDown was where you would find your Chris Benoit's,
Eddie Guerrero,
Angles, your Eddie Guerrero.
It's a wrestling show.
It was the wrestling show, kind of like the Intercontinental title early on was the wrestler's title. SmackDown was the wrestler's show. So I've always preferred SmackDown. And this year, with what Roman Reigns is doing over there, Paul Heyman's doing over there, Jey Uso, I think SmackDown. Well, once again, Jesus, Dan, you're killing me here. I was going to give them a B+, and now I've got to go with a B just because I don't want to be the same as Dan twice in a row.
Oh, don't worry, it happened plenty of times on Thursday, and I told Dave I think it's just because we seem to talk so often that maybe like our minds just link up, but like. Raw was a hard F. It wasn't even a question.
I mean, with SmackDown, I think you had Bayley and Sasha were so hot this year. And the wrestling guys. And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, to be honest with you, one of the other highlights that we had on Raw earlier in the year was Bayley and Sasha actually, as the tag champs, were able to come over, and you were once again focused on the wrestling with them and maybe a Shayna Baszler. And it was fantastic.
And I think another thing, too, about it is, now that they're on Fox, there's more of a focus to make that one of their top shows, too. It's not on the burner anymore. And with the talent they got on and what they're doing creatively, it's just clicking. And we're lucky. Very lucky.
And I think for guys like us who actually love the wrestling, it's not going to be even close until Raw decides to pay attention to wrestling again, which will probably never happen.
Now, speaking of loving wrestling, where are you with NXT?
NXT, to me, next to MLW and Ring of Honor, NXT is the best wrestling on TV when it comes to pure wrestling.
Yeah.
I think that every week they put out matches. They might not have the biggest names because just their breakout stars haven't broken out to that point yet.
Mhm.
But every week they're turning out matches that make you go, wow. I mean, I could watch Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly every week. You want to book that every week? I could.
That New Year's Evil card is sick too. We're not going to talk about it anywhere, but just to throw two matches out there: Ciampa and Thatcher in a cage, and O'Reilly and Dunn, and then it's like I think Rhea Ripley's Raquel Gonzalez, last woman standing. Like it's a sick card. Like I started looking at it, like there's going to be a lot of great in-ring action on the show.
If you're not looking forward to that card, shame on you. You shouldn't even be a wrestling fan. Go watch ping pong or something.
Get out of here.
Now, AJ and Backley in the comments,
what do you
can
give
we
the grade?
nail down a grade? Yeah.
So on NXT, I'm going to give them a, before Backley can come in, God damn it, what is it? I'm going to give them an A.
Okay.
It's maybe an A minus. I'll give them an A minus. Just because
Wow,
I'd like to.
why the
Yeah,
A
Cross
minus?
was pretty. Yeah, that's another good one.
So the reason why I'm going with an A minus is because to me, an A or an A plus just has to really be there. And I just don't think NXT has quite crossed the line in their storylines yet to get to that A, if it makes sense.
There's one show Joe gave an A plus to, and I can't wait till we get to that.
You actually gave an A plus too.
I'm gonna guess
did.
that.
Was that it?
Yeah, we were both
Dynamite.
A's on NXT, yes. But we were both
Okay.
A's on NXT because to me, getting that Halloween Havoc, that Great American Bash
Mhm.
branding, they had so many good matches. And even when people go out hurt, they line up something huge next to it. I mean, we had the Keith Lee title win. We had Halloween Havoc. I can't say enough good about.
I mean, you can see how close I was to giving him the A. I literally was like, hey, well, wait a minute. Because part of me wants to give him the A.
You would have agreed with Backley, so
Yeah.
good thing you kind
I
of.
said A. I love it.
I had a feeling he was coming with the A, so I had to put that little slash on there.
Yeah, now we're going to get into AEW territory. Where are you with Dynamite?
So Dynamite to me is an A show. I think that they get the mixture of great wrestling with your Kenny Omegas, your Hangman Pages, your Lucha Brothers, even Cody, which I know this is going to kill Josh DeBoard, has had great matches through the course of the year.
He just
Michael.
spilled his twisted tea on his couch, man. You just ruined his upholstery.
Sadly, Brody Lee was one of those people that was bringing that. Lance Archer hasn't even been tapped into yet what I think that they can actually do with him. I just feel like between the storylines and the emotion and what they're drawing out of us, and quite frankly, how far they've come in a year with COVID going on, how do you not give them an A?
I said to Joe, I said one thing I like about AEW, and I'm an NXT guy as far as pure wrestling goes, but like Jim Ross always talks about the sizzle and the steak. I feel like NXT is just like a really good steak show. But AEW is doing something with that sizzle. They got those spices and like something going on there. It's a little tasty. I like it.
And
like
to go with
Eddie
that,
Kingston interview.
To go with that, you can be the best steak in the world, but if nobody's there to eat it, you got to have the sizzle and the smell to bring them in to eat the steak.
I love these steak analogies, boys. I'm getting hungry. We got to wrap this up.
Dave gave him an A plus. I looked at him as a B plus, but that was before that Brody Lee tribute show. After that, shit, they are a straight A minus. That thing was amazing.
It's my favorite tribute show of all time.
Yeah, we were talking. Dave brought up the other night
Benoit?
how many big tribute shows have they had?
I've only got 3 in my mind. I don't count the Benoit one because,
No, you
and
can't.
I'm not even talking about what happened. There was also just video packages and stuff like that. Yeah. So there was only 3 shows where they had matches live for the crowd, a 10-bell salute, and then also had people talking. That's Guerrero, Owen Hart, and Brody. Now, the Owen was the first one. That one is something I'm always going to remember. Like, that just really hit me hard. Eddie obviously hit me hard too. But the Brody one, and I like Brody, but it was so well done. It just got me. They did so many things that were so good and emotional. And I don't know. I think it was timing too. I don't think you could have put on a better tribute show than that. That was an A++.
I actually agree with Dan down below again. He said that pre-COVID they were A+, and that they went to B+, which is kind of why I gave them the A and not the A+. I think that they're a company that needs the live crowd, unlike Impact, where we talked about there's just some reason they don't need a live crowd.
Yeah.
When you get the live crowd for an AEW event, it's just the next level. And as you guys know, I was at the original Full Gear, and
Fight for the Fallen, I believe.
Oh, Fight for the Fallen. Sorry, the original Fight for the Fallen. And when you're in that crowd, and when you feel what's going on in there, it's just a completely different animal.
And I love that Daly's Place setup, but without a crowd, it definitely stands out that there aren't people there because seats are so much a part of it. It's almost like an amphitheater in most towns.
And the problem is even when you go have WrestleMania and stuff like that, and football crowds, football stadiums are not set up the same way as wrestling stadiums are, and it doesn't allow. So now with less people in there, you really can't hear the crowd, because I have to believe that the crowd at the Brody Lee was even more insane than what we heard.
So what else?
Nice.
We got here, Joe?
Dave said I was a fool for asking you this, but I'm going to throw it out there. How did you like AEW Dark?
I actually like AEW Dark. I know Dave doesn't think that I watch it, but
that was the exact quote.
I stand by that.
I actually like AEW Dark. Like this week, they managed to actually have 4 women's matches on the card, and I think that they do a great job of setting up beforehand some of the storylines going forward, and they do a good job. Now, Dave is correct. I do not watch it every week, but I would give it. I would actually give it a B.
Sure. Okay.
I would give it a B because I think they're doing a good job of growing people. But if you're going to do that, I think you also have to watch the BTE there, because I think that also does a good job of growing the personalities and growing the characters that we're seeing on Dynamite.
We didn't even talk about that. I gave Dark an A because they're almost like their own feeder system. They're bringing in top-level indie guys, and that's where you get your first look at them. They do a few dark matches, and then they make their way to like a low-level Dynamite match.
I agree with that.
I do agree. I wish I had more time to watch it. Dave's right. I don't watch it as much.
But I ultimately don't think at the end of the day it's a storyline-driven show, so I can't go that high. That's why I went like a C+, if I remember.
Yeah,
you went C.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
C+,
and like I said, I went B because you can't possibly drive storylines on that show.
Yeah,
it's not.
There's a couple things once in a while they'll do, but I mean, for the most part, it's not a storyline-driven show, and you can skip it if you had to. But there's a lot of fun stuff on there if you want to just have like a fun time watching some wrestling and just know it's not going to really necessarily lead to anything. And there are good talents that show up. Now,
once again, Dan's hitting it out of the park. I don't know if you're reading it down there, but Danny Limelight wrestled, and I agree.
Former guest of the show. We got him before he was popping anywhere. Now we've seen him on United Wrestling Network. We've seen him on Dark. I would like to see him sign with them. He
was on the New Japan Strong show too. They were doing every Friday.
You talk about a young talent that deserves to get a nice little push. That's a guy.
I think we cover MLW more than anybody does.
And we hope to cover them more. Now, AEW, they're coming off that tremendous Brody Lee tribute show.
Yeah, awesome show.
What are you guys most excited about for tonight? For me, it's got to be Snoop Dogg on commentary.
Fuck out of here.
Thank you for mentioning the thing I'm looking forward to the least.
Yeah. One quick note, not the match I'm necessarily looking forward to.
Hey, that sizzle on the steak that I like.
I'm enjoying a certain aspect here of all these shows. Go back to the Wrestle Kingdom show for just a second. Cobb and Shingo, all right? MLW, Hammerstone, and Hans Kruger, which we know is Logan Creed. Now we're going to this like Wardlow and Hager tonight. And, there's going to be one of these too on NXT later. There's kind of a return of like these big man fights, and I'm excited about that.
I like the fact that these big men are far more athletic, though, and are actually able to be multi-dimensional. While it is a slobber knocker, their athleticism's out of this world.
They even made, I don't know if you guys saw it on Wrestle Kingdom, they made a mention about seeing Brody King more on New Japan. I know isn't he still with Ring of Honor? Or because I've seen him on there, I've seen him on NWA, but he's been a mainstay on New Japan Strong almost every week since then. and they made it a point to mention his name after the Shingo Khan match.
Yeah, I
filmed John Moxley in that New Japan USA ring, and because I had asked Tyler Peters, where does he see that John Moxley match falling? He said he didn't know, and I'm like, I feel like they're gearing it up for USA. So it feels like they did certain things during Wrestle Kingdom to point to a USA run for that.
Yeah, that dojo's in LA, so I hope they're not doing it for New Japan Strong, because they've been filming a whole bunch of episodes of that at a time, and then so they don't have to have all the wrestlers there because they go to Japan. I'm hoping they save it for like maybe a Japanese pay-per-view, maybe like August, where they're supposed to be in Madison Square Garden, maybe, because they did push that back a year from what it was supposed to be this August. So that would be, I guess.
One thing I want to ask before we forget too, AEW tonight. Do you think tonight might be the night we see some Impact stars show up at AEW? Kenny and the Good Brothers jumped the Machine Guns, and Rich Swann on Impact last night.
Yeah, last night.
So I'm wondering if at some point are these Impact wrestlers, are some of them going to make an appearance? Kenny's fighting Phoenix tonight. I think that there's an opportunity maybe for Swann to get involved.
That's definitely something that could come to fruition tonight. I wouldn't be surprised at all. At some point, you have to, because right now they're making the Impact guys just look weaker to the Good Brothers and to Kenny Omega. So at some point, you either have to have a retaliation, or you end up with what the WWE did with the WCW, where they had the invasion, they just got their ass squashed. There's got to be some return.
And then they did have Tony Khan do that, what was it, the commercial thing for Impact, where he welcomed anybody over, and then you saw Sami Callihan with the tweet saying, "Oh, really?" So I'd be interested to see if he makes an appearance on AEW.
Another thing that's interesting is last week we talked about something. We talked about Marty Scurll, and we talked about the misbehavior and where he could be at for Ring of Honor. He was actually let go this week by Ring of Honor, both from the booking, completely released from his contract. So that's another person who I don't know if they're going to want to touch, but that's another person who could show up on either Impact or AEW, or even New Japan.
I don't think now. I think maybe down the road, maybe a year down the road, I would say the companies are going to be a little cautious to sign him just yet.
But
Well,
I
heard NXT WWE has no problems with looking at him. I heard because he hasn't been found guilty of anything yet that they have no problem looking at him. I hear mixed signals from AEW, but it would be nice, maybe not now, but 6 months from now, AEW would sign him and then have him be the new leader of the Dark Order, because he is the villain.
Can we just say, isn't it nice that WWE gives zero fucks about any of this stuff? Everybody else is like, I don't know if we should do it. WWE's like, whatever.
As long as you're not caught with steroids, the WWE has no problem with anything you might do.
Yeah, they don't care about the accusations. They're like, you guilty?
Wink twice if you're guilty. All right, we cool.
Matt Riddle's been in a lot of trouble too.
Now he's got to get back to work, so let's land this in a nice spot tonight. We're gonna.
Want to talk about the couple things we know about NXT? Because I only know two.
Yeah, I think there's only two, because it is the start of the Dusty Classic.
Yeah.
And we got 2 tag team matches on the card for tonight.
Yeah, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong versus Breezango. And we got the grizzled young veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson versus Everrise.
Parker and Matt Martell.
Yeah.
The grizzled young veterans who made a great showing last year at the Dusty Classic, and then obviously have killed it on NXT United Kingdom, are a fantastic team. And I'm really hoping they get another push here, because the way they work together is very similar to your old school, almost reminds me a little bit of FTR with a little bit of a new school twist to it. And I really, really like that team.
So Candice LeRae versus Shotzi Blackheart.
Has that been added?
Loomis versus Gargano apparently
I
tonight.
don't know, Josh. I looked up a couple hours ago. There wasn't, but maybe something got added last minute. I'd be excited to see Blackheart and LeRae. I think that would be an excellent match.
Yeah,
All of
I've
those-
definitely been sleeping on NXT lately.
So.
The problem is NXT has been they did have a good card last week. Their card was phenomenal. They
I'm
did a
excited
great
to
job.
see the women's Dusty Cup too. To actually see what they end up bringing in there too.
What's up, Gary Schweeder?
Yeah,
Sure,
he does New Japan talk. Gary, how did you feel about Wrestle Kingdom? And this is only going to be a minor comment because we are at the end of the show, guys.
Yeah.
We are. What is the show you're most looking forward to tonight?
I think AEW just has the big lineup tonight. I mean, if you look at last week, it was kind of competitive because we thought, okay, NXT had a real well-booked show that was weeks in advance. But this week, it's like the fall off, and this is like night 2. A-. There you go, Joe. Last second.
Dave, I don't say this often, but young man, get fucked. It is definitely MLW.
MLW is going to be solid. I'm sorry. I'm excited for MLW, but
that Von Erich's match versus Los Parks, that is going to be a war. There's going to be blood, and the Von Erichs are going to get fucked. I don't want to see it, but the best wrestling is when I'm left upset. So they're going to lose it.
I'm going to watch all 3 of them tonight. I'm going to start off with MLW. That's going to be the first one that I watch, which will give you an idea.
First?
No, it's just the one that I'm most excited for, to be honest with you. And then AEW will be my number 2, and then we'll be going NXT in the final slot because, like I said, I just don't think they've done a good job of getting us amped up for this week. Whereas I'm extremely excited for MLW and excited for Josh DeBoard and Cody Rhodes in the waiting room.
Yeah, there's no sarcasm in those comments.
He means it. That's from the heart. That's a lot of love. Nothing but love.
Now, guys, we got a wrestling podcast releasing tomorrow with Gene Jackson.
Yes.
This guy has a Jerry Lawler story you are not going to want to miss.
It's amazing. It absolutely is amazing.
He's got a Greg Valentine story that I didn't think I should put in the episode, but I'm like, you know what? It's going in there.
Right.
I haven't heard it yet, but I assume it involves cocaine.
Who knows?
Allegedly.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but maybe. And Gene Jackson is also going to be our next comedy podcast the following Tuesday. This guy is an interview you're not going to want to miss. So, guys, thank you for joining us again this week, and we will see you again next week. Guys, I don't want to keep this guy waiting because he is offering us a special opportunity that we talked about this week. So let me bring in Nicholas Vick, the owner of Knockout Wrestling, and we will talk about the opportunity that's been put in front of us. Nicholas, how you doing tonight?
Good. Yourself? How you guys doing?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on.
Awesome.
Hey, we've been doing real good this week. Now, we wanted to have you on to talk a little bit about Knockout Wrestling with us since we've been talked about to be your commentary team coming up.
Yes, we had an opportunity we're looking for a commentary for our upcoming shows, and Rob, one of our guys, reached out to y'all, and you guys accepted. We're very blessed. I mean, we've been following you guys for a little while, and we're really excited about the other future things that are going to be happening. So,
yeah, we're excited for the opportunity, man. This is really cool. We appreciate you reaching out, and we're excited.
Once again, thank you for sticking around for the Working Fans Podcast Christmas special. Now, earlier this year, I changed jobs, and that's why Working Fans Wednesday became Working Fans Saturday. Right before that change, I was going through a period at the other job where I went from running a department to I was working part-time. So I picked up an overnight shift to kind of try and even out the money that I was losing. And we, in addition to commentary, we were still putting shows out. And it's kind of what made this year interesting. And sometimes the stress or kind of that chaos breeds a newer, better person podcast. And I think that's where we're at now. Now, speaking of wrestling commentary, let me play a quick match that Dave and I commentated on before we get back to the clips. Now,
That's
guys,
right.
let's move on to tonight's cards because Knockout TV, first off, I think they might have the best card of them all. They've got Nick
Absolutely.
Swift versus VHS, and you've got Agent Orange versus Jason Steele and Ice Dragon. Oh, and you got a couple guys commentary debut.
Dude, Nick Swift and VHS makes me want to be kind and rewind to watch it again.
And
80s
Agent
throwback.
Orange, shit, they might be older than AJ.
I'm pretty sure they are, but that just means that they're grizzled old veterans.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Now, speaking of grizzled veterans, let's start with NXT because I think they have one of the hotter cards tonight.
Yeah. So just in, Austin Theory and Kushida, we were talking about. I don't know when
Keep
that got
stealing my
booked,
gimmick. I'm going to come through this screen.
but It's just it, baby.
That's going to be, I think, match of the night or one of the matches that we remember after tonight.
The Dusty Classic has some great semifinals.
That tag match. Oh, I was going to say those semifinal matches.
Yeah,
Holy
Mendoza
Christ.
and Wild versus MSK, and man, the grizzled young veterans versus Ciampa and Thatcher. Like that's gotta be
If that doesn't steal the show and the night, I don't know what's
Guys,
going.
look who finally showed up.
Hey,
He's coming off the track day tonight.
Right when I'm about to say Amber Moon and Blackheart versus Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. So that's right. When the ladies show up, Randy just kind of eases on in here, baby. He knows what's up. My man.
Nobody brings in the ladies like Farmer.com, Randy Oscar.
Farmsonly.com, brother.
Whatever.
Oh, you made him leave.
He's out.
You're welcome.
Like, fuck that guy. AJ Stainsbury should never gave him money. Son of a bitch. Hey,
now we got a lot of good
before we keep
matches
that-
on NXT, but let's move on to AEW.
we got a
because,
giveaway too, though. Shouldn't we promote that at some point? Give people to answer in the comments.
I mean, we brought it up at the beginning, but what band shirt was Danae wearing on last Friday's Marital Nonsense?
Mm-hmm. And we
Mike
have a
Tenay
guy
was-
who answered me already, but because he isn't in the comments, I'm giving people a chance to win it. So if you answer the comments, you get it. If you don't, we got somebody already. So come on, suckers.
Randy, that doesn't even make sense. We are definitely not on Facebook. We announced it. We had some shit go down, and we're making chicken salad out of chicken shit. But hey, back to AEW.
Yes, back to AEW.
We broke the we broke the internet.
There you go, baby. Look at Randy dropping some knowledge on you, son. Who's the biggest baby face in this partner? Randy Oscar, son.
All right, now AEW, we got a stacked card.
We
Layla
do.
Hirsch versus Thunder Rosa, the first round of that Eliminator tournament. God damn,
Love it.
that is a hell of a match.
It is. I like that one a lot. You got Pac versus Ryan Nemeth. See how that goes. I like Ryan Nemeth, but Pac is just a man. You know, he's gonna put a hurting on that boy.
Oh yeah, it's good to see him back too, really laying the hurt on these guys.
Also interesting, Cody and Lee Johnson versus Peter Avalon and Cesar Baroni. Is that his guy's name?
Benoni. I think they're taking a chance to put over some of those undercard guys because Cody Rhodes, Peter Avalon, obviously you've heard about.
Well,
Cesar Benoni, he's made some appearances after NXT, but not a
Yes.
ton. And Lee Johnson is one of the lesser known members of the Nightmare family.
yeah, well, that was actually a thing on the Road to series this week. They actually gave you a behind-the-scenes story about Lee Johnson and his come up and how he's working hard. Look at Randy.
What do you
dropping
guys think about this? NXT better than AEW at the beginning of the year?
I think match-wise, quality-wise, NXT is always just very solid with the wrestling. But as I talked about before, as Jim Ross likes to say, you got to have a little sizzle with that steak. And I always feel like AEW just has a little more in the sizzle department, you know? Like AEW
and they got Kenta. We finally have that interpromotional fight with Kenta, John Moxley.
That tag match is going to be hard hitting and could go anywhere in the freaking arena, for Christ's sakes. You've got
I know. I
Kenta.
put over a couple other things as match of the night, but that might be it.
Yeah, but Lance Archer and John Moxley versus Omega and freaking Kenta.
Also,
How do you beat that?
Jericho and MJF versus The Acclaim and Darby Allin versus Joey Janela. I will say this, though. I do want to just point out one thing. I think Darby and Janela will be a hell of a match, but from the ranking standpoint, here, I'll throw this out there. I don't know why Joey getting a title shot. I don't know what my man did.
That is where I was going to go this week with AEW.
Yeah.
Who has Joey Janela not done the job for in the last 6 months that has gotten him a title shot at the
And on the Road to series, that was actually kind of what Darby said. Darby actually said, Joey, I don't know who this is right now, but to me, it looks like you don't even want to be here. So I want to see the Joey that I remember from the Independents who wanted to be here and busted his ass. I want to see the Joey at the beginning of AEW who got here, not this guy. Otherwise, don't waste my time and don't show up.
Yeah. Joey Janela is looking less like Shawn Michaels and more like Brett Michaels these days. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Joey Janela, baby. Joey Janela.
Now, guys, we got one last. Oh, we got another comment here. Oh, shit. Randy bringing that insight. Is Joey Janela in that Dolph Ziggler role? I think it's a fair criticism.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Whoa, no, because Dolph Ziggler actually brings it and wrestles great every week, whereas Joey Janela has looked like a pile of shit for the last 6 months.
I think, okay, it's a fair he's there to help put people over. However, Dolph has been throwing bones and actually had some championships before as well, even though.
Well, not only that, but Dolph
position.
Ziggler looks like $1 million when he's putting people over.
He physically looks a lot better than Joey Janela. Yes.
The dude was also a college wrestling champion. Joey Janela made his name from jumping off the top of a barn.
Yeah, into like a flaming truck.
Yeah, a truck with a bunch of light tubes, but
it was on fire.
Was it on fire?
Yeah,
I gotta go back and watch that.
It was definitely on fire.
Guys, I got breaking news for you.
Oh shit! Not again.
February 27th on Ring of Honor TV, you're going to see Shane Taylor versus Rush for the ROH World Championship, free on demand.
Ooh. I'll be ripping off Joey's Fight TV like always, baby.
You're gonna see Shane Taylor versus freaking Rush. That's gonna be a hard-hitting, hell of a freaking match for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I know we don't talk about ROH often.
Roosh.
You can, I speak the American.
Oh, the American, sophisticated man.
Now, guys, we got one last card to talk about. Unless you're talking about Knockout TV live on the Renegade Wrestling YouTube, Twitter pages. Your boy's debut. AJ is the man behind the curtain, pushing us, telling us what to say.
Yeah.
But what are you guys most excited for on MLW tonight?
Laredo Kid versus Leo Rush, dude. I mean, that's
how can you not?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Go ahead,
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Every week, MLW has been bringing storylines. We talk about the Sizzle. They've been actually doing a good job of bringing in the Sizzle with their different factions, with the matches that they're putting together. And now they're putting together the wrestling along with it. It's very hard to beat MLW consistently every week.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to make the announcements for Tom Lawler's Fight Island, what is it?
Filthy Island.
Either way, it's a ripoff of Fight Island. We all know what it is, but they're announcing that for next week, and I think that's an interesting hook.
Also,
you got Calvin Tankman tonight.
Breaking news.
I'm gonna
ACH versus Brian Pillman Jr. Gotch and
that is a hell of a match.
Injustice. And Calvin Tankman is back as well.
You would have thought that Brian Pillman match would have been announced earlier, but if I wasn't watching us tonight, I would definitely be watching that. Oh, Jesus. Here he goes.
No. Breaking news. I'm calling the police because Dave's stealing my gimmick.
I ain't stealing your gimmick, baby. I'm stealing the show. Woo!
Shit. Dude, I hope this doesn't happen on commentary. He's about to bounce me out here.
Oh, God. First of all, let's be clear about something.
The Vince McMahon in our headsets.
Let's be clear. I'm very interested in Renegade Wrestling. I want to be clear. I want to be clear about something here. I'm very interested in Renegade Wrestling. I think that it is going to be the premier independent wrestling from the state of Florida. However, y'all can have this knockout wrestling to yourselves.
God damn it,
Hey, we got a little storyline playing out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We got
Boys.
episodes 10 and 11. I think you heard them.
Be kind to us, guys. It's our first time, too. We're trying our best here, all right? We're
Please
trying
be
to come out.
gentle.
Be kind. All right? These cookies ain't done yet. We still baking.
Shit, I've been baking for a couple of years here, getting ready for this.
But I want to take a moment. I want to take a moment here, and I want to talk
All of
directly.
them, Randy. All of them.
I'm talking directly into this camera right here. Randy Osgood, I'm talking to you.
Reach out, son. Touch this man.
Randy Osgood, we coming for you.
Tune in tonight, right after we're done. Tune in tonight on the Facebook Live. Check out Renegade Wrestling. Right now, it's currently on Knockout Wrestling, but tune in.
It's
check
on
out the product
Wrestling and Knockout TV.
on Knockout
Randy
TV. There you go.
Osgood.
Check it out. See what Dave and Joe do, and then get ready because there will be a Renegade coming.
Guys, forget Lizzie. The boys are back in town, and AJ is busy hiding from his wife. So we gotta get to this live 531 on best promo, guys. AJ, what do you got?
I'm actually on break from working the suicide hotline for the watchers of marital nonsense. It's fine. However, don't
You guys
forget,
had me on hold, but I hung up.
guys, don't forget tonight, episode 10, Knockout TV. We're gonna see the boys, a man called Dave, and we're gonna see producer Joe call the best action in independent wrestling directly from Florida, baby.
I like Joe's trying to get you to get that list out, and AJ's like, "You're not letting me not get my shit in. First, I got to tell my joke, then I'm gonna promote."
Now, hey, forget about that. Let's get to Knockout Wrestling real quick because we got to cover this card. Eliza Hayes and Persia versus Raven Marie and Yade versus the Go Hard Life twins. Triple threat tag team match, ladies division, out of hand.
Yeah,
and then we got a Lake County Championship match. Mr. C, Ice Dragon, the King of Extreme, Billy McLeod, Knockout Wrestling. If you guys aren't watching it, you're fucking up. Like you just said, best wrestling coming out of Florida.
It's good shit. Watch it.
Guys, and by the way, on seriousness, I am Uber driving, so I will be picking up Josh DeBoard to go check out wrestling tonight with Whiskey
And pick
Cinema.
up Randy Osgood, the phenomenal giving you props, son.
Randy's already in the back. So best promos, not including myself.
I was about to say, you got to be number one on your own list, right?
Absolutely. Number 2 on my list is VHS from Knockout TV. If you want to check out an up-and-coming superstar who's cutting the best promos in independent wrestling, VHS is killing it every week on Knockout TV.
Join to be one of his Grove Mingos. Check out his Vaporwave tapes. Sorry, AJ, got to get all his plugs in.
Absolutely. But we got Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes has got to be one of the best promos of all time. The man just telling how it was, talking to the common man. We got Ric Flair talking to anybody but the common man. He's going to be next on my list because Ric Flair just brought him in by the millions. People love to listen to the Nature Boy, even to this day. Next up on my list, one of the greats of all time, Billy Graham. Superstar Billy Graham has been the man who so many people have tried to steal their material from Hulk Hogan to Dusty Rhodes to every wrestler you can imagine has stolen a line somewhere from Superstar Billy Graham. Not to be confused with the evangelical minister. However, we also
I have sinned. Sorry.
Rowdy Piper. If you want to see a great interview, the Hot Rod Rowdy Piper could draw you in with the best of them with an interview. And then my final one, simple, easy, to the point. This guy, every time he brought it, you could feel his pain. Mick Foley, absolutely tremendous interview with the way that he got you to feel his pain. Speaking of feeling the pain, what do you got, man called Dave?
Well, I got some similar names because me and you are going to agree on some of these. I got, the Nature Boy. Kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a bitch. Kissed all the girls and made them cry. Something Joe knows about, my man. All right, I got Dusty Rhodes getting funky like a monkey, if you will.
The problem is Dave didn't mean kissing the girls. He meant just the crying part.
Somebody's crying.
Hey, we've done both. Don't worry about it.
we got my man, Double A, Ian Anderson, the Enforcer. Best promo of all time. Still one of the top promos today. I also got The Rock, the People's Champion, Mr. Electrifying, Mr. Know Your Role, Mr. Shut Your Mouth. All right,
Mr.
And-
Sitcom on Tuesday nights.
I actually kind of want to see that. But anyway, I also got.
Did you watch it, AJ? I feel like you would have watched the Young Rock premiere.
It is on my list. I was going to actually watch it tonight after wrestling, so I'll be watching it later.
Ladies, that means it ain't happening. I'm going to bring you my list.
Wait, I got one more. Know your
you.
role. Slow it down. Take it easy, son. Slow it down. Take your time. All right. I got Terry Funk, you egg-sucking dog. Now, please continue.
Hey,
Yeah.
before we move on, Randy brought up LA Knight.
Yeah,
It's
dummy.
Eli
Yeah.
Drake, damn it. It's
I
Eli
know it's
Drake.
Eli Drake. I think we're all disappointed. Dave, where are you with the name? Because I hate it. I think AJ hates it.
Oh, I don't like it, but I will say this.
I am not getting behind La Knight.
I will say this. MSK didn't like it either, but the guys have been booked well. Great match. They killed it at TakeOver. I hope the same thing for the new equation to LA Knight guys. It is what it is. I'm gonna support him anyway. He's a hell of a promo. He's got the talent. Is it my first choice? No, absolutely not. It's stupid. It's a
Do you
stupid
think
ass
we'll
name.
see him tonight?
Yeah, I do, and I think he's going to be a big part of the show. I think that this guy is going to be a guy they get behind because he's got the chops that can talk, and I think the guys in NXT like Hunter are not going to try to over micromanage him like some people, pal. And I think they're going to let him run, and I think he's going to do good.
Oh, I thought you were talking about my day job for a minute, but you're right. Vince does micromanage them a little bit, and it's got the same amount of syllables, so it should work. But my promo guys, obviously, Ric Flair. I don't think you can deny his promo ability. Even in his old age, he can bring it back at times. Dusty Rhodes, 100%.
I want to cut. I loved it on each of our lists. The top two were Flair and Dusty. they're going to the finals already. But go ahead. Who else we got?
We started the initial debate because this is what caused us to do the Flair Rhodes promo bit with our Sour Naro episode.
I know AJ will appreciate this. Hogan, kiss my ass.
Hogan.
Hogan.
Now I've also got Cornette, I got The Rock, and I got Stone Cold.
Okay. Now the only other person that made two lists that I'm looking at here is The Rock. I don't want to just put The Rock right in there though. I mean, I will. But let's just, to be fair, who else do we have that's kind of
Wade Barrett is a good promo.
Wade Barrett's a good promo. Yeah.
He is, and I think that's why he got out of the wrestling business and then quickly got back into it, just for his vocal abilities alone.
Yeah, I think we're gonna. You know what? We're gonna go with The Rock because I mean, we did have two picks on that. So, fuck The Rock. How dare you, son?
I think enough people
Josh
have.
Ward has.
Enough people have fucked The Rock. Yeah,
I
he's
think
doing
The
all right.
Rock's fucked enough people.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
All right, now who's the first person that we bounce from this list?
It's going to be The Rock.
Oh, The Rock.
Yeah. Now, let me say this. The Rock is the most charismatic guy. But when we're talking about best wrestling promos,
It's
that
one
guy's
and
got
two.
more charisma than anybody ever. He's
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, to quote the Buzz, when it comes to picking our final two, fuck The Rock.
Yeah, I look, to me, when it comes to wrestling promos, I don't know. Cena's not on there. He ain't gonna be on there.
We couldn't see him.
Yeah, Flair and Dusty are it. And if you don't know about Flair and Dusty, go back and watch some shit. That's all I gotta tell you.
Wait a minute, guys. Breaking news. Yeah,
I knew it was gonna happen.
breaking news. Fuck John Cena.
John Cena. You can't see him. He ain't on our podcast.
Now, where are you guys at with Damian Sandow? I think he
He's
showed
great.
us some stuff in NWA, really flexed his muscles a little more.
He's good. He's awesome.
Sando is amazing comedic performer. He's right up there with the
Mhm.
best comedic wrestlers.
Yeah.
However, as
good promo.
an all-around promo makes you feel everything, all emotions.
Yes. Right. Right. Great point. Yeah, The Rock is a very charismatic guy, and he's very funny, and he can turn on the intense side. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But to me, when it's coming that wide a range, when you're talking about intensity, guys that can be entertaining, and guys that most all make it feel important, make it feel big time, you're talking Flair and Dusty.
Yeah.
And
sorry, Randy Osgood just actually put Selena De La Renta on there. And I'll be honest with you, she does cut a good promo, but all the emotions are down here.
She is young also, so she has time to develop that.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely got huge potential, huge upside on that one. But, all right, guys, I mean, I think we've been down this road before, and I think 2 out of the 3 of us have often agreed it's got to be that Bull of the Woods, baby.
No, it's Rick Flair.
I might be changing a prior opinion, but tonight I gotta go with Ric Flair.
Oh, listen to you. I knew you'd do that just to be a pain in the ass. So here's how it's going to go down. You want to be different?
Dave's making an executive decision. This is like pulling those scales off the shelf.
Yes, baby. I mean, I appreciate what you're saying, but you're both wrong.
Okay, we'll just do this. Just to be fair, who did we hear a great promo from last? I've heard Rick do great promos recently. When's the last time you heard anything?
You have not heard Rick do a good promo recently.
I was going to say, Rick is still knocking girls up.
When's the last time?
Say?
When's the last time Dusty's done anything? What, 2015?
Jesus.
I don't know. Actually, when was that stuff he did with Goldust came back and Cody? What year was that?
He died he died in 2015, so I assume it's before that.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't. Yeah, yeah, that was some good shit. But yeah, all right. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean, Flair's last good stuff was. Did he cut good promos? He had that stuff with Jay Lethal. It was fine.
Yeah.
You know what? We don't want to bury. We don't want to talk about this
guys.
stuff.
Let's leave it as a stalemate because I don't think we're ever really gonna agree.
All I'm saying is you can't lose with either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I'm saying maybe it's time, Dave, you just do the job like Nick Swift.
I ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah, he should be.
Dusty is the reason we have Cody Rhodes. I think Josh DeBoer definitely has these buzz comments.
He's hijacked it. There's no doubt. Hey, listen. Listen, Dusty, Cody, Goldust, they're all cut good-ass promos. The Rhodes family knows how to get over. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, guys, let us know in the comments, but let's move on to tonight's cards.
All right, guys. Wait a minute. I've got
breaking news.
Breaking news.
Well, it is breaking news. Unfortunately, I'm here for the 531. I do have to get back to work. If I don't,
I got one thing to say. I know where you're going. To the moon.
You're damn right. Somebody's got to pick up Josh DeBoer. He's been drinking all night. If I don't get this Uber over to him, it's going to be lights out.
He's sad, but I don't think this feeling will ever end. You got to get him. But AJ, we will talk to you next week. Thanks for cutting out some time for us, brother.
You got it. Thank you, guys.
Hey, much respect.
Guys, the boys are back in town. How are we doing today?
Feeling good. Looking good.
I'm feeling like a necessity. I hope they come and check me out now.
Now,
you
guys,
look like an old piece of furniture, baby. About to move you. What are you doing? Bring the energy up.
Now, this week, I think we're talking maybe one of our favorite subjects, best factions. And I think there's only going to be one winner, but we'll see how it works out.
Ooh. Who? Do you know who he picked the last time? You don't have to tell me, but do you know?
I did not write it down now.
My
She's gotten
favorite,
busy, Dave.
I know, baby. I know.
My favorite faction is Mayhem.
Okay.
Oh, Magnificent Mayhem.
Yeah.
Bill Crude, big son of a bitch, but, we'll let that slide.
Yeah.
If you want to give us your list first.
Yeah, sure.
Bill Crude is a great, magnificent human being.
Actually, before I give you my list, let me give you a friend of the show, Randy Osgood's list. Because
Oh, Jesus Christ, I was about to forget him here.
Yeah, he was nice enough to send us a list. He's got the Four Horsemen, Evolution, Bullet Club, NWO, and the Dangerous Alliance. So, solid list by my man Randy. I'll jump into my list here. I got NWO, the Horsemen. Woo! I got DX, suck it, and we got Evolution.
Not the first time he said it this week either.
Probably won't be the last.
He did go to church this week.
Evolution, baby. All right, that's what this show is. We're evolving, evolution. All right. And last but not least, I got to give it up for my boys, the Pink and Black Attack, the Hart Foundation, but not Brett and Jim. Brett, Jim, Brian Pillman, Davey Boy Smith, and Owen Hart. That group.
As one of the best factions of all time.
Listen, I'll put them up over there with Evolution. Here's the thing, like in terms of like better than Devastation Incorporated, some of those. Here's why.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, here's why. Okay, you're talking about wrestling talent.
I don't even got to say shit. Dave just lit the fuse.
All right, Davey Boy was in his prime at this point. All right, Davey Boy Smith was throwing around Vader in WCW. He came over as having classic matches with Brett and Owen. All right, Owen, you consider yourself, AJ, the best Hart actually as far as in the ring goes. Brett, all right, was already a multiple-time world champion. Brian Pillman, his persona was absolutely – the weak link of that was Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who was still a powerhouse at that time. They got mega heat. They were absolutely over everywhere else, so they got a great reaction all the time. Yeah,
you got them chomping at the bit to talk.
And look at Backley right there. He got my back. You're damn right, Backley.
Okay, first of all, when it comes to Jim Neidhart, who?
Great. I remember telling you about that.
Hey, his daughter on Instagram is a fucking gem.
Yeah, yeah, and not Nighty, his other one. But you know what? I got no problem with the Hart Foundation. I got no problem with the Hart Foundation. You can definitely put them up there with, you know,
they're not my number one.
A lot of the groups. I think that at this point we reflect back on them. It just, to me, it was a very short run as a faction. So it's that's my only problem with it.
Sure.
That's I'll be honest with you. To me, I think that you forgot some of the factions from today. We are talking all-time great factions.
Team Taz.
Yeah, absolutely. No. However,
don't forget Hook, baby.
I'm gonna go into my list next since we're gonna do this.
You saw Randy's question.
Horsemen obviously were there. I think that's one. Dangerous Alliance, fantastic faction. Yeah. I think you missed two from Japan though. The original Bullet Club, I think you have to throw in there. I think that they ended up being a faction that became multifaceted as the years went on. They ended up having a lot more versatility and had tremendous leaders no matter who took over. Whether you had AJ Styles running it, whether you had Finn Balor running it, no matter who you have going, it has been a great stable. So to me, I think you have to have them in the great factions of all time at this point. Another one that I really like for a great faction is I've always been a fan, believe it or not, Nation of Domination. I think that it was ahead of its time period. You didn't see factions that were African-American based necessarily all the time. So to see one go to that level and to end up obviously with the star that The Rock was, to have former world champion Ron Simmons, to have the Godfather in there.
Former world champion Mark Henry.
I think that it's ahead of its time. And I think that it quite frankly, its work still holds up to this day, other than Ahmed Johnson. And then my final faction, not the Hart Foundation. However, I am going to go down to Florida for a personal favorite. I am going to go with Kevin Sullivan's original faction that he had down there when he had Maniac Mark Lewin, he had King Curtis, he had Woman. Yeah, Sullivan's Army was absolutely incredible. And I think that that's one of the great factions of all time also.
They're okay. They're no Hart Foundation. If you like your regional factions, very good.
I mean, they really set the stage for what Kevin Sullivan would do later, and it's interesting to see where that idea kind of started and how he got to play with the idea over the years.
Well, the difference is to be honest with you, it was more scary early on, whereas later on in WCW, it became more cartoonish. Yeah. The original faction, the original faction you saw in Florida, you believed were legitimately going to harm someone, whereas they became a caricature of themselves in WCW.
He put his hands on his wife too. I mean, they didn't know he was married to Nancy at the time, but he smacked her on TV down there.
Yeah, so it was a little ahead of its time and a little bit behind.
And then she ended up the Hurt Business. Hey, you know what? He did mention the Undisputed Era. They actually had a very solid run up until recently. A couple of years. They had all the belts at one point.
Yeah, I think the only
And they
problem.
made NXT War Games.
Yeah. They really did.
And I once again I really like the Undisputed Era. I don't like that WWE never gave them the opportunity to
Go to
really
SmackDown,
showcase and do what they can do.
Yeah.
True. Now I'm going to bring you my list. I got 4 Horsemen,
Yep.
Undisputed Era,
Okay.
Dangerous Alliance. I also put Bullet Club. I was thinking the original one, but I mean, anything up until post Kenny Omega, I'm all right with. And I've got the Inner Circle. But Jake Rule is in effect. Jake's popping at home for that. I also got the Hurt Business and Injustice in there.
Interesting. I'm the only one at NWO. Absolutely, like the biggest faction of all time that made the most money for WCW.
NWO ran wrestling into the ground when I was tuning out of it.
You know what? I'm not going to disagree with it. That's why, like, when I was thinking of my top 3, I wasn't sure if they'd make it to my top 1. But to me, it's like they were so big, they had to be in the final 3.
So here's the funny thing. I thought about not only adding them to my regular list, but I also thought about doing like a 1A and mentioning the actual NWO from Japan, because you talk about New Japan factions. They actually started off in New Japan before ever coming to WCW, and that's the prototype for what the Bullet Club eventually became.
Yeah, but the most successful and the greatest faction of all, of course, was Hogan, Stevie Ray, Vincent, the Black and White NWO. Come on, that slapjack sucker! Huh?
So we'll cut that bullshit out. Do we have to argue it's anything other than the 4 Horsemen?
The 4 Horsemen are getting in. Yeah,
I'm saying for number 1.
Oh, we can argue that. Yeah, I mean, there's different levels. Let's come up with our final 3.
All right, because we got 4 Horsemen, Dangerous Alliance. We're in a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Dangerous Alliance is one of the most underrated factions of all time.
You know, the funny thing is, I guess from my point of view, my final 3 would have been NWO, Horseman, DX.
Once again, I think a lot of people didn't mention DX.
They did it. I was surprised.
No.
They really kind of like turned it around. And if you look at like in terms of like talent, if you compare DX to the NWO, like Shawn and Hunter, I mean, my God, the work rate there was off the pace.
This is gonna pain me to say, but the Horsemen ended up running into the same problem that the NWO eventually ran into. They ended up watering down the product, and when you start adding people to the mix who don't fit into the original prototype, you water it down and you end up being less than what you can be. It would be like if we added a 4th Horseman to the working fans. You just wouldn't get the dynamite that the 3 are.
And but you never know. We could be out there looking, guys. Suit up, bitches. Impress us.
Tyler Peters, put your Bible down and get ready to rock, brother.
Oscar,
if you don't, I was gonna say, if you don't think you just gave Randy Wood.
Looking at you, farm boy.
All right. So what do we got for top 3 then? To round it
based
out?
off the amount of votes, if that's what we're gonna have to do it, then I guess Bullet Club had to make it in there with the Horsemen, and then
Dangerous Alliance.
I guess it's gonna be Dangerous Alliance.
Although wait a minute, Backley threw in your Heart Foundation too.
Hey, to me, I put them over the Dangerous Alliance. I love the Dangerous Alliance.
Oof.
So
I would like to put, dude. I want to say a quick thank you. Daniel Backley's checking us out. He's a regular supporter of us. He's been in our corner the whole way.
Gauge my IQ.
Gauge my IQ.
Gauge my IQ. The man's got great taste in wrestling, great taste in shows, and we just want to say thank you for tuning in, Daniel.
And just to put a bow on this, I guess if that's our final 3, then I'm going to go with the Horsemen, because at the end of the day, although AJ's right, it did get watered down. They were also the trendsetters. They were the original.
They are. And the funny thing is, the original's not even the best of the Horsemen. This is another debate for another time.
Hey, yeah. I'll throw mine out there real quick. To me, it's Flair, Iron, Barry, and Tully. Like
I thought you were going McMichael, but
why don't we have a Horseman debate next week instead of a live 5-3-1? See who's everybody's favorite faction is.
Well, let's put it to the test. Randy, I know you're tuning in. Do you want to have a Horseman debate next week?
Woo!
God, if he didn't get any harder than our earlier
He's
suggestion.
putting the suit
just
up right
broke
now.
it.
Are you kidding me? He's about to show you why he's a kiss stealing, wheel dealing, limousine
putting up-
riding son of a bitch.
Instead of 3, he's putting up the 4, and it's
All right, guys, let's talk about tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on all Renegade social medias. Knockout TV, episode 11. You got Anthony Katina versus Mike Reed. Dave, best match we've called. Not best match we've called in a while, but like this match stood out among others.
Yeah, both
and
very
also
promising.
Apollo Jr. versus D3.
Yeah, it's a good episode. A lot of good young talent on this episode. Very promising. I really love the work rate of both matches. So good stuff.
A lot of guys that have been popping up on AEW Dark. D3,
Cantina,
Mike Reed.
I'll just tell you right now, Cantina. Jim Ross talks about this as a good quality. Very dislikable. Very dislikable. You want to hate the guy when you see him.
I'm gonna say young Randy Orton.
I was gonna tell you, I love Cantina. I've seen a lot of talent on this show so far that seem like they're a little on the kiss the fans ass kind of direction. But this Cantina kid, he understands that it's not about making the fans love you. It's about making the money and getting the job done.
Yeah. Ooh.
Guys, welcome back. What are we doing today?
Fired up.
If I was any better, I'd be Dave.
But you ain't, sucker. So you just got to settle for being you. Woo!
Now, AJ, before we got started, you wanted to do a little promo read for us. So we give you that spot before we kick into the big talk tonight.
Wait a minute. He gonna do that little shirt dance where he took his shirt off again before for us?
Guys.
No, that's for Randy only. We recorded.
Go ahead.
Guys, I think we can all agree the hottest independent wrestling right now out there in the state of Florida is all coming to you from Renegade Wrestling down there in Renegadeville or Leesburg, if you prefer, or whatever the hell they call that shithole down in Florida. However, it is still
shout out to Florida.
However, the best wrestling on the independents right now is Renegade Wrestling, and that if you want to be the hottest person and you want to have the latest gear, you've got to go to prowrestlingtees.com/RWA Florida and get all of your merch there, get your t-shirts, support your boys, support independent wrestling down there, and support the working fans, which are the voice of Renegade Wrestling. So get out there and buy that merch.
Every time he says down there, I keep wanting to go down where? Down there.
He only did that because he wanted to show off that Bret Hart t-shirt.
You got to check out, baby. The best there is, the best there was. Come on.
So this was also Dave's way of coming out of the closet.
Coming out of the closet. Well, all-time greats. You know it. All right. If you three.
All right, Randy Osgood hit us up with a comment earlier.
You wrestle AEW. So he wants to know where we're going to wrestle? If we could?
I'm a little confused by this question.
If you three were wrestling today and had the same contract. Oh, so, okay. So if everything was the same money, same dates.
Where would you choose to wrestle?
Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Dave, take this one first, Dave.
I will. It can't be the same, right? So to me, whoever's going to provide me then at that point with the biggest national spotlight. So right nowadays, if it's again same schedule, same money, right? Then I would do WWE. However,
Johnny Burke.
If let's say AEW surpasses them in the next few years, let's say it does happen, right? Or any of these other companies, then I would pick them. So whoever's going to give me the biggest spotlight, being that everything will be the same, that's what I would pick. Now, because I don't have no fucking pride. So if anybody out there is a WWE mark or an
Dave,
AEW
where the fuck
mark,
do you want to wrestle? Jesus Christ.
No, I don't care. That's my point, right? Because that's what I'm saying. Like, I get so annoyed with this. Like, fans will be, oh, do you love the WWE? Do you love AEW? No, I want to know who's gonna fucking pay me. Who's gonna fucking?
He's saying all the contracts are the same. So who has the best? Who has the best creative, and where would you want to wrestle?
See, I never thought about creative. I just thought who give me the best spotlight.
Because you get the same money anyways, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but who's got the biggest TV deal?
I would want to go to New Japan. If I could choose one of those in a place where I could work and get the same amount of money, the same contract, the same everything, I would go to New Japan. I love that style of wrestling. I would love to do some strong style wrestling with them.
You know what?
Either that or NWA.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say if it's creative, sign me up for NWA, baby, off the cuff.
I was going to say, I think so little of myself that I would want to start off at an MLW or an NWA because I don't think I have like that big a name. And like, I'd like to work to New Japan, but I would probably just end up as like an Impact mid-carder.
It's so honest. It's so honest. I think so little of myself. Is there a real ringing endorsement? Billy Corgan, sign this man right now. I think so little of myself to send me to the NWA.
I like the fact that his humility ended up being a slap in the face to MLW and NWA. I think so little of myself. I'd like to go to these two shit promotions.
Well, I would just.
I gotta go with Johnny Burke here.
You on like a major network.
Johnny's got the point though. I mean, at the end of the day, if everything's the same, it can't all be the same. You're going with visibility. So, like to me, that's got to be WWE or AEW. You know?
Zach St. John, Mrs. St. John's baby boy's in the house.
Baby boy.
We just ruined his kid's dinner by talking about
my baby boy.
Little like my goals are.
Now that being said, if you really want to be on the cutting edge, then you would choose to be part of Magnificent Mayhem in Renegade Wrestling.
That was
all
a
right,
good
Mark. Calm down,
brother. Now, speaking of disappointing debuts, tonight is our 5-5-3-1 of most disappointing debuts. We've never done this on the podcast, so I'm itching to hear what you guys got.
All right.
You guys mind if I kick this one off?
Kick it off.
Okay, first of all, to me, one of the most disappointing debuts of all time.
Sean Shamrock, he's a fellow podcaster there from.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I also like the answer too. Take the one with the least amount of work. Guy after my own heart.
I was getting the least amount of work mid-card and on Impact. I do that once a month, baby.
All right, Joe's humility aside, AJ, what do you have for a list?
So, disappointing debuts. This is going to be one looking back on it. I know you can look at this two ways. If you were amped up for it and then you were fired up and then the drizzling shit showed up. So,
I remember Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. This is a little bit different. I'm taking this one as a debut who I think they could have done a lot better for because he's a great wrestler. Brian Kendrick. I don't know if you guys remember Brian Kendrick's debut with the WWE on SmackDown, but when he actually debuted, they brought him out as a bellhop in like an old bellhop uniform and had him with the name Spanky and just had him get his ass kicked by Chris Jericho.
And he couldn't get that over? Whose fault is that?
Somehow he was, and that was with the Undertaker and Paul Heyman in that segment too. And he came out as Spanky, just absolutely god awful. That's another one here on my list is got to be Lord Tenzai. What they could have done with that gimmick and what they ended up doing with that gimmick are two different things. He went over there and wrestled as Saint Bernard and actually did an
no, he did not. Calm down. Giant Bernard.
I know.
Bernard.
Saint Bernard is what we called you before we started taping, brother.
I was all smuggling. Saint Bernard.
It sounded right for a second too. I was, that's definitely it.
Okay. Moving on. You got Tenzai, you got Kendrick.
But he was able to get over Giant Bernard, and he was able to actually really make that mean something in Japan. So what's the WWE do? They turn him into half Hakushi.
Yeah, put those Japanese symbols on him. The hell, you couldn't get that over?
Yeah, what they did with Matt Bloom was absolutely horrible.
Actually, he got a job still, so he's laughing at us.
Another one that was absolutely horrible, and this is going to hit home with Dave, Zeus. Oh, my God. Zeus is one of the worst debuts of all time.
Hit home. That hurt me.
I thought you were going to say Pedro Morales or something. Get him fired up about his people or something.
No, Pedro had a hell of a run in WWE, actually.
When they brought out Zeus after No Holds Barred, they brought him out like he was this giant monster of a man and gave him that ridiculous gimmick. It was one of the worst debuts of all time, in my opinion.
Thank God we were young enough to buy it back then.
I bought it.
Now
this guy's scary.
Now it's just that's Debo.
Now I got to tell you another horrible debut, and this isn't going to be one individual person. When the WWE brought back ECW, the whole product on a whole is one of the worst debuts in the history. And if you need proof, just look at the Zombie, for Christ's sake.
Oh yeah, that Zombie.
The ECW product on a whole, when the WWE debuted it, it just god awful and one of the worst debuts of all time.
That Zombie was over in Florida. Go ahead.
Some say he still is. The number one on my list, worst debut of all time, the Gobbledygooker.
Okay.
People had so much speculation as to what that was going to be, and it ended up being freaking just one of the worst things on the planet, in my opinion.
All right, brother. You want me to go?
That's a list. That was definitely not Googled anywhere.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
I don't even know how to use the Google.
Okay.
Now I'll bring you my list next because I got the Shockmaster on top of it. I mean, that was just, I wasn't so hyped for it, but you can't debut a character and have him fall on his face.
Fall on his face.
His whole shit fell on his face.
Yeah.
I think you can quietly we hear Davey Boy in that too. Go.
Okay.
Fucking fell.
Even if he doesn't fall on his face, he's coming out with a stormtrooper mask and Levi jeans.
Don't forget
Still,
about
we
that.
were young enough to buy it back then.
Don't
It'd be
forget about
goofy
that
now.
fine ass fur coat he had. My boy was pimping. Fred Oatman in the house, baby.
Now, next, I got Paul White in AEW because it just didn't do it for me the other week. Like, I'm happy to see him there, but you just slide that in. You don't put it on TV and then have him talk about another signing. Because then if you're telling us about another debut, why am I sitting here watching your debut?
Now, I can see that.
Yeah.
My next one is David Arquette in a GCW ring. This was about the time that he was going around and trying to redeem his run in wrestling. Then he gets involved in a death match, gets stabbed with a light tube, and starts crying about it. Like he didn't know what he was signing up for.
That man is a former world's champion.
I mean, still, it's you're gonna make yourself. Yeah, but he's also getting into a death match, and he's trying to redeem his name in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like I would think, like if I'm gonna get in a wrestling ring, I'm gonna have enough respect for the business to not try and
I will say
do
that.
anything.
First of all, if you have enough respect for the business, are you doing a death match?
Here's the thing, too. If you go back and look at that opponent was changed on him. He had somebody else he was originally supposed to wrestle, and then they changed it. There was an injury or something happened. It was MDK. So he was like,
Yeah,
wait.
you get Nick Gage, you get what you get, but
Yeah.
I believe he was originally supposed to wrestle New Jack, wasn't he?
No, Hornswoggle, I think, actually.
now I got two more for you. I got Matt Cardona in AEW because when I first saw him come out, I was so excited. And then he did a couple more matches, and then he kind of disappeared. And that ruins that moment for me, just like the next one, the debut of the exploding ring in the U.S. Last Saturday was horseshit. And it's kind of like what that ring did for that event is the same way like Cardona never really showing back up in AEW affected my liking of his debut.
I will say this: hats off to you and AJ both picking random things, not just people. ECW and WWE, and then the exploding ring.
I
honestly thought everything was going to be WWE at first, but I can't remember a whole lot of bad WWE debuts. The Gobbledygookers probably.
Don't worry, I have some.
I haven't been that disappointed since every time my mom debuted a new stepdad.
We're not laughing at his misfortune. Give me your list.
I got your list here. I also have the Shockmaster. Now, here's something to point out. I'm a big believer when you're talking disappointing debuts. It's got to be somebody I'm really looking forward to. There's got to be some steam. That being said, that's not really the case with Shockmaster, but his debut was so damn bad, I had a hard time not putting him on the list. But believe me, no time in my life, even as a young kid, was I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see the Shockmaster guy.
It'd be forgotten to time. Like we wouldn't be talking about him.
I wasn't disappointed by the Shockmaster because I had seen the Black Scorpion.
Yeah,
true. You were more steeped in that.
Yeah, I almost put that on my list. I just because it was an angle, I had a real hard time with it, and it ends up being Flair. But it was so stupid. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. This one made my list. Glacier. Because they took months to roll this motherfucker out. If you were around that time period watching WCW, it was like every week we were like, winter's coming. Oh, there's a storm brewing. Oh, cold is coming. And then this asshole comes out with this Mortal Kombat outfit with some fake-looking karate kicks. No offense, Ray Boy.
Wait a minute.
I'm sure you're a great guy.
It also did not help the timing. The fact that they were building it up for months, and then 2 weeks before they debut the NWO.
Right. They had the most realistic angle they ever had, and then they brought out this comic book shit. It wasn't good. All right, here's one. Okay, I think AJ will agree with me. Even if you weren't a fan of The Ultimate Warrior, The Ultimate Warrior was a big deal for the time period he was in.
Yeah.
So needless to say, when Hulk Hogan and his team start saying, we have an ultimate surprise coming, we have this ultimate, and they start dropping every hint that the Ultimate Warrior is coming, and you bring out this guy called the Renegade, a knockoff Ultimate Warrior, shaking the ropes with half the physique. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
Here's the real bad part. The real bad part is he had half the work rate.
Now I got the gobbledygook.
Saying something considering it's the Warrior.
I got gobbledygooker as well, but
by the way, I happen to know that Zach St. John's ¡1 favorite wrestler of all time, the gobbledygooker.
I don't think it is. But last but not least, it's a tie, but really they're kind of my number one. Jim Ross is telling us how Razor Ramon and Diesel are coming back to WWE. Nobody knows what's going on. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are like, nope, we signed a contract. Jim Ross, one of the most respected men in the industry at this time, still is, was like, we got Razor Diesel. They're going to be here. They're going to be here. That's got me.
Way to bring it home, Jake. Way to bring it home.
But no. Instead, we got the fake Razor and the fake Diesel. So, to me, super disappointing. Not what I was, especially that fake Razor Ramon, too.
When you started that off, I thought you were going to say Jim Ross's debut at WrestleMania, 8?
Oh, with a toga. No, it was 9.
Was it
I
9?
love that promo.
My
he
God.
talks about that with the Razor, and he's like, they put me in a toga. Oh, you look good in a toga, Jim Ross. Kiss my ass.
Open up the back of that toga.
All right, so we got to pick a top one out of this list. Shockmaster and Gobbledygooker made multiple lists, didn't they?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 2.
By the way,
third. I think there was
Shockmaster, also Dave's nickname with peas.
Don't worry about peas. Can't fade the peas, bro.
All right, so who's gonna get in there as a third one?
I think ECW being part of the WWE's got to make that list. If that's not the worst debut.
I don't think we had a lot of other crossovers though, Dave.
We didn't.
Let's give it to ECW. I think that's disappointing enough because coming off that one night stand pay-per-view, I think everybody had higher hopes for the actual brand.
All right.
On a serious note, I want to ask you a legitimate question.
Yeah.
Have you known anybody? That's awesome. Have you known anybody who has ever been more disappointed than ECW fans with what the WWE handed them after one night stand and what they brought to the table, what they were calling ECW? Have you ever known anybody more disappointed than that? The ECW fans were rioting.
That's a good point. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure some people.
Do you have a better argument for something else to get into that third spot then, Dave?
No, I'll give it the third spot. That's fine.
Okay, because I was like, I got nothing.
Guys, I want to bring something up here. Zach just mentioned the fact that Jake's favorite was PN News.
Was Zach mention that, or did Jake mention that?
No, Zach just mentioned that. I think down at the bottom after Jake.
Yeah,
was
he
talking.
was trading barbs with Jake because.
Right.
But I want to mention PN News is also now one of Dave's favorites. So
yeah. Tell me where that motherfucker is. I can't even find him. We're supposed to have an interview. I've been looking for him.
All right, so we
know where he is.
On too many people, guys.
Talk about disappointed debuts.
Let's get down to tonight's shows.
Wait, we didn't pick a number one.
Wait a minute, we got to whittle down to one here.
Yeah, all right. Joe's always jumping ahead.
I know I was
God
moving along
damn.
because you were about to smite the good Paul News name.
Yeah, well,
Damn.
Paul. Yeah, Paul. Paul, where you at, Paul?
God damn. As always, producer Joe trying to finish quick.
To me, it's a Shockmaster though that wins the whole thing.
I think
wow, you're going right to
over
Shock-
Gobbledygooker.
I think Shockmaster is still talked about more to this day.
Really, because I hear people like on the Undertaker documentary, people how terrified he was.
Undertaker, yes, because he thought he was going to get that spot. That's why he was. Dusty Rhodes still curses out Fred Oatman for that stuff. Fred Oatman's a bitch, baby. I can't believe he's part of my family.
But people thought that egg was either going to be Mark Callis or they thought it was going to be freaking Ric Flair, for Christ's sakes.
I did it. I thought it was going to be bullshit. I knew that the whole time, even as a kid. I'm like, oh, it's a stupid egg.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm happy to give it to the Shockmaster.
He deserves it.
I just don't think it's as clear cut as.
I was gonna give it to the Gobbledygooker because I think there was more build up and there was more hope.
Well, nobody expected.
Wait a minute. Let us not forget Sting.
I think that
was also the Scorpion, but that was also only doing the Shockmaster too. Highs.
Only shocked everybody with that personality.
Our partner is going to be shocking.
And then magically,
Davey Boy,
fireworks that went off when the Shockmaster fell on his face, were they better than the ones at the end of that AEW pay-per-view?
Although Davey Boy Smith with the best line ever, he fucking fell.
You know what? If you want to give it to Gobbledygooker, though, I'm sold. I think about it. Fucking.
I like that you make this whole push, and then you're like, nah, man.
You know what? I just started picturing Hector Guerrero doing fucking tumble salts in the middle of the ring. And I'm like, you know what? Good
fuck
point.
you. We're going Shockmaster.
Yeah, whatever.
Dave, I got to be honest. We kind of lied to the people tonight. I mean, we didn't lie to them, but AJ isn't here. You and me are here.
Uh-huh. Working Fans podcast. Two of us motherfuckers are working. One of us.
I know. I actually took a driving shift tonight. That's why we're early.
Yeah.
And we're going to hold off entrance themes till next week. But first off, Josh DeBoard, Chuck Winchester have an interview with Just Incredible tonight.
That's not just the coolest. That's not just the best. That's just incredible, pal. I remember his old catchphrases. That's my boy.
I know. I will be watching that when I get in, but you guys definitely need to check into the Buzz tonight to watch that. I don't have the information in front of me. I think it's 7 p.m.
Yeah.
But we're kind of like on our heels here because we had to put together a show last minute. So we're going to hit each other with like 4 or 5 random topics.
I know. I mean, I don't think Randy's even here to see all this stuff.
No, Randy's here. He noticed we were early.
Oh, I messaged him. I wasn't sure. All right. Randy's in the house, baby. He knows.
7 p.m. tonight, both Josh and Chuck let me know, and we will be watching that. But
that's right.
Dave, I don't know. I know Josh doesn't watch the Indies.
But I
kind of do. I told you about GCW Game Changer Wrestling had that Take Care show. Yes. I told you they did a great barbed wire match, but the main event of that night was Ricky Shane Page versus Joey Janela, title versus owner of Spring Break. And Ricky Shane Page took Spring Break from Joey Janela. How do you feel about that? I am excited, but I'm a GCW mark. I've been watching them since like the first spring.
You know,
I was at the first Spring Break.
Joey Janela did a thing last night on AEW Dark. Him and Sonny Kiss lost a match. Name's escaping me, but basically the angle at the end was Joey's yelling at Sonny saying, "What are you doing?"
No, we can't say those words on here.
What?
I don't know. I assume they started with an F or an N, but tell me what they were.
Joey basically said that. He said that basically
AJ's sweating in his car right now. Like, Jesus, guys, I didn't clear this.
Basically, the storyline was Joey said, "I don't want to go back to bingo halls. I don't want to go back to delivering pizzas." So it's kind of funny, even though you have Joey and Pop, but they're teasing Joey being nervous about getting cut and maybe being heel. In reality, Joey's actually doing other storylines to kind of take himself out of that whole predicament, because obviously he's going to be.
And that's what
AEW.
I thought, because he has popped up in GCW since he started with AEW.
Yeah,
but it's been like less and less, and it would only make sense at some point that you would kind of take yourself up out of the indies and put yourself like on TNT.
I wonder if it affects his push. Joey's kind of been a middle of the road, lower tier guy in AEW. Maybe if he's fully committed and shows that, maybe that's something they'll see him go a little further.
And I mean, to be fair, GCW has also passed off Matt Riddle's Bloodsport to Josh Barnett's Bloodsport now.
Sure.
So it's not out of the question for them to change names. Plus, the WrestleMania weekend show is going to be Ricky Shane Page versus Nick Gage for the GCW title.
That's good. I like Nick Gage. I've seen him live. Yeah, he's a killer.
And when Ricky Shane Page first got that GCW title, he had taken it from Nick Gage. So I told you over the weekend how excited I am for the collective shows. And if any of our fans out there want to throw us a little money to watch it, we could review all the shows. Rich Swann versus Too Cold Scorpio in the For the Culture show.
That money.
Randy, you got that farm money. Come on, bro.
Yeah, baby, come on.
So, Dave, what do you got
Sell
for your
some
first
magic
topic
beans.
today?
What are you doing here? Yeah, I want to actually. I got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I got, but I'll start off with an independent. I'll meet you with one. I'm gonna talk about SWE Fury.
Haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
I am behind the times.
That's all right. I'm just gonna throw some names at you here real quick. Tim Storm, Jazz, Teddy Long, Mark Henley, Serena De La Rente, Charlie Haas, Kevin Sullivan. All these people and more are on this show.
What about James Beard? You're going to leave out the man that told you about this promotion?
James Beard, I interviewed him. Awesome guest. He's the commissioner, the matchmaker. He's a former referee of World Class and more. Awesome guy. Yes, he's on the show as well. James would want me to put over the other talent. You're welcome, Scott. But now, listen, it's a great show. They got a lot of talent. Rodney Mack, no, never mind. But, there's a lot of good people on this show. And
dude that ducked this show?
He did. Davey Boy Smith Jr. is on that show.
He doesn't want to get money in his pocket. What kind of worker is that?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, man. But yeah, great show. They put over a lot of the new talent too, and it is a real like old school storyline stuff. Like there was an angle they did the other day where I forget the wrestlers' names, but it's two of their younger guys that are working, and at the end of it, they cut an angle where the guy sprays bleach in the wrestler's eyes, and that's like the huge angle. And referees are running out because he's blinded and they don't know what to do. And I guess it's setting up some kind of bull rope match. So it is like a Texas wrestling organization. They got Miranda Gordy there, the daughter of Terry Gordy. And she got into it, Lacey Von Erich, so they play off that. They have, like I said, a lot of big-name wrestlers that come in and out of promotion. Kevin Sullivan does the commentary. It's a super show. I can't recommend it enough. It flies by on YouTube.
All right, before I get my second point in, Randy's got a question.
Oh, yeah.
If you were the booker and you could recreate any match that's been done, what would it be and why?
Interesting. Recreate.
This is tough because I don't know if I'd want to recreate a match, but I'd kind of want to create a new match with older guys.
Sure.
If I'm going to recreate anything, it's got to be Benoit Sullivan, just because the heart of that storyline hits no matter when you do it. Knowing what we know now, it's almost more fucked up. But to me, that is the blood feud angle that I would have to do.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, I don't know. I mean, I recreate anything. I guess.
Would you recreate your marriage?
Nah, we could. We would recreate maybe. I just something similar like with Savage and Steamboat. That angle when I was a kid, when Savage dropped the bell on Steamboat's neck, and Steamboat basically had to take like speech therapy lessons to talk again. And to me, that was as super intense as it gets. One of the few angles that actually scared AJ as a kid. As explained by our versus Randy Oscar losing against AJ's wife.
We could set this up on the farm. We could do this as like a cinematic match.
Cinematic, right? We can make it work. You could do both. Oh God! What do you
All
got,
right,
Joe?
so the second topic I got for you is Wrestle Roast. Have you listened yet?
No.
Oh,
I have
you
not.
are fucking up. It
Hey,
is
SWB
Robert
Furry.
Karpelis. Sorry, me and Scott are big fans of it. Robert Karpelis, Mike Lawrence, Dan. He does a good Andre the Giant
Yeah.
impression.
I actually
They
know who you're
roast
talking about.
people,
Yeah.
and Saint Germain.
Yeah.
And I actually just recently signed up for their Patreon where they roasted Teddy Hart.
Yeah.
And it is vicious. Listen to the free feed, but if you can sign up for the Patreon, you got to do it.
Okay.
Dave, you just got to listen to it, period. Next time we record, I'm going to play it for you.
My life is fucked up as it is now. You got to change things around.
All right, so what do you got for number 2?
All right, fans back in the arena. All right, it's been talked about. WrestleMania is obviously going to have some big crowds outdoors. UFC is going to do a full show with indoors with no restrictions, expecting 15,000 fans right next to each other.
Sounds like a good idea. WrestleMania makes me nervous. That UFC thing, I might watch it just to watch them cart out the body and not the fighters.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's interesting because people are ready to open up. They're itching now. So
I'm ready for fans. I mean, I say all that, but it's going to give us a much better show.
Right.
I wonder how WWE feels about it, where the Thunderdome has been such a convenient coverall.
Right.
But what's it going to be like when they have to do like a limited stadium?
It'd be interesting. Vince might like it. It might be Vince's new choice. Vince might act like it's the first time fans are back in the building in his lifetime. You know, who knows what senile old Vince is going to think. Vince might
He's probably going to think it's his idea.
Yeah, so I think he's going fans back in the yeah, we got to listen to these people. God damn it.
God damn, pal. We came up with this before anybody.
Did you hear?
How about them people overseas? What are they doing right now? Nothing.
20 people chanting for sex. Bullshit. Am I the only one who sees this? Yeah, so I don't know. I think that's interesting.
Are we going to WrestleMania? No, we're going to stay alive, Randy.
Okay. I got bills to pay. I got stuff to do.
I mean, I'm more excited about WrestleMania weekend, but I feel like I would go to that again 2-3 years out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Beyond Wrestling is just getting events together in this area.
Here's a funny side note. They were supposed to release tickets already, and they held off. And Brian Alvarez has this theory that the reason why they held off, possibly, is because if it's not because they're going to have less fans, it might be because it's 2 days WrestleMania that we're selling to fans this year, and they didn't tell you what night what any of the shows are on, like what matches on what show. And since you're doing
that's
that,
another bold move, trying to sell tickets to a show that you don't have anything on.
Right,
it's almost like they think WrestleMania is a big enough, like, kind of property that you'll go to it no matter what's on it.
That's what it's been in the past few years, though. But now with COVID, you're only going to get a big part of that fan base, too, that comes over is the European fan base. You're not going to get as much as that right now. So, yeah, you kind of have to go old school. You have to kind of lay your card out and tell people on what night you're getting what. So, actually, it's kind of interesting. You might kind of get an idea of who draws. You know what I mean? You might go, oh, people showed up more for this Drew McIntyre
Maybe telling
night,
you what's up. Tickets go on sale Friday, bruh.
Oh, thank you, Randy. Always got the big scoops. Breaking news.
Letting you know when you mess up, too. Now,
I said they were supposed to be on. They were supposed to be released Monday. They did held off, so that's fine.
All right, Dave, we're kind of deep into this episode, so I'm going to hit you with one more question.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to tonight and tomorrow night's card.
All right, I got one more. Go ahead.
All right, we're pretty much through the first quarter of 2021. Yeah. What has been your highlight so far and why?
Ooh, good question.
Why I ask him.
My highlight, I'll tell you what, seeing a couple old school guys that I'm fans of back in the spotlight. Edge winning the Royal Rumble and Christian showing up in AEW.
Oh, wow.
I'm a big ENC fan. So
I thought we were going to have the same answer there.
No.
But you messed up. No. To me, it was seeing those tag titles. It was seeing Tully in the ring. It was seeing JJ. Like, That made my year so far.
Okay. Randy pumped for you know what? NWA back. That's a great one too. You know.
I know that was almost going to be my third question. Is are you hyped for that pay-per-view? Given the amount of talent they've lost.
I'll speed through this real quick. If you tell me if anything you want to pop off with. These were the three things. You pick one you want to address. Paul Heyman has teased that somebody might be coming back, a former world champion, maybe Brock Lesnar. What does Brock mean to this business? MLW's been teasing Lucha Underground involvement. Maybe it's called Azteca Underground. What's going on there? And the other thing, AEW Dark Elevation. Was it really just AEW Dark? What do you think?
I'll give you MLW. I think they want to try and bring in Dario Cueto. Maybe you could do a spin-off show. Either way, I'm happy with that.
Me too.
Dark Elevation was just another dark show.
It was.
I don't necessarily hate it, but I'd like to hope there's some differentiation as time goes on.
We agree. I'm not even going to debate that. We're 100%.
Danny Limelight kicked off the show, former guest of the show. Happy to see him.
Yeah.
D3 on Dark. We've called his matches.
That's damn right we did. He was on Dynamite one week too. Damn right we called his matches. Hottest commentators in the business.
I know, we're damn stars right now, but let's get to Knockout TV, episode 14, tomorrow night. Ex-Convict versus Salazar. Nothing really to talk about there. It's a good match. Salazar is one of the biggest up-and-coming stars in this business. And if you're not familiar with him, you're messing up.
Check him out. You got to check out Salazar.
Now we've got Anthony Devlin versus Jason Taylor for the Armed Forces Championship, which turns into Nate Nasty versus Jason Taylor for the Armed Forces Championship. And then American Eagle versus Hannibal Wolf. Not the biggest show we've put out, but huge stars and great in-ring action.
And you just want to check out the talent because there'll be more of these guys that are going to be coming up on episodes and get to know them.
14. November 14th. Knockout Wrestling decided to bring Los HP back.
For the tournament?
For the tournament. See, they should have just brought us back and had us face the tag team champions. Controversial link. But it's okay. Who we facing on the first round?
Right here, I think the Good Old Boys.
The Good Old Boys.
El Grande y el Chiquito.
Sí, El Grande y el Chiquito. I know you guys have not forgotten about us, but we ain't even going to talk about that one.
Yeah, that was something that happened, but
it's okay. Knockout, put us with the Good Old Boys. That's what we want. See, the only thing I have to do, what we got to do, is once I'm done stabbing down Ron Bass Jr., it leaves Daniel Sterling for us.
All alone.
All alone. And once we get you by yourself, we're going to hit you with some Puerto Rican moonshine called Pitorro. And once we get that 1, 2, 3,
we're going for the second round.
I'm going to tell them Good Old Boys, bye-bye boys.
Go home.
Because it ain't cheating, it's improvising.
Si no te gusta, chúpate un moco.
Porque somos los HP. Vámonos.
November 14th, Leesburg High School, Knockout Wrestling. There's the #1 contender tag team tournament. And the Good Old Boys here are wrestling Los HP. And I'll tell you, wrestling Los HP, it's a 2-for-1 special.
Oh, just desserts. Sundae with the cherry on top, you know? Pumpkin pie with a little whipped cream. Because, you see, the Good Old Boys, we were on our way one time to have an instant classic banger with the tag team champions, Controversial Inc. But unfortunately, Los HP decided to stick their nose somewhere where it didn't belong.
So, Los HP, now you've got an answer for it. You've got us first round of the tournament.
First round.
And that's bad for y'all because it sounds like if you've got us first round, you can pack your bags.
Got an early night.
You're done.
So just in case you didn't hear or understand, this tournament's the last time that Daniel Starling and I are going to be the Good Old Boys. So first round, second round, third round, finals, win, lose, or draw. The boys are leaving it all out there, which means it's dangerous for y'all to be in the ring with us. So boys, get ready. It's going to be a long night.
Right, returning with another first-round match. Los HP versus the good old boys. Ron Bass Jr. Darling Daniel Starling. I could barely get it out there. I'm so excited for the first round of this tournament because I'm a huge fan of tag team wrestling.
Yes.
We've seen it some, but finally they decided to feature it. And I want to see who's going to take the crown from Controversial Link.
And we got Ron Bass Jr., second generation wrestler here too.
Good old boys, they had a chance at Controversial Link. They believe Los HP cost them the spot. So look at these guys come out. Ron Bass Jr. on the left there.
Oh yeah, no mistake.
Darling Daniel Starling on the right.
This guy's father was famous for cutting up Brutus Beefcake's forehead with some spurs on TV one time. So he seems like a lot more jovial and a nice guy. But if he's got that kind of killer instinct in him, look out.
I'm looking to see if he's got spurs now.
Athletic Commission might have said that, son.
You know, well, they have a reason to want to go after Los HP. It's good to see in the first round of this tournament that we're coming in with some kind of story to get behind. I could just get behind the tag team wrestling as it is.
Nothing better than a good old grudge match. Los HP.
These guys definitely coming out with a different energy. Good old boys, I was a little more afraid of these guys. You know, they got the swagger. I don't want to call it lackadaisical, but they're not coming out. They're not coming out with that killer instinct that I saw in Ron Bass.
No, they're confident, but no sense of urgency.
No, hopefully they find that once they get into the ring.
I think we're going to need it. Starling and Bass Jr. Going.
That young man doesn't even go to this school, and he just gave that dude the finger.
He loves HP, makes himself very welcome everywhere they go.
He's loving it. I think he's contributing to the delinquency of the youth right there.
I will say this, similar attires by everybody, they look like tag teams.
I know, with Jason Steele and Ice Dragon, that was a thrown together team that we've seen gel, but I think all the good tag teams, Wealth of Wrestling, you see Ron Bass and Starling over there, Los HP, there's a sense of continuity. They look like they belong together.
Yeah, I think it's a little thing. It's not necessary, but it's a little thing that I like. You know, like when they come in dressed together and they look like they're on the same page. You know, it says to me, okay, like these guys are a team at heart.
You know, not to toot our own horn, but over here at the Working Fans Podcast, we always try and move as one.
Toot.
But enough about us. Let's get to the great action in the ring.
Right.
Ooh. Getting his attention, making sure that Starling didn't creep up on him.
Pay attention. So we're about to have a match here.
Locking up. Ooh, almost looked like a side headlock, but he grabbed that wrist lock. Not a bad idea to wrench that shoulder. You can see, got it taped up.
Ooh. Very sick.
Reversing that wrist lock.
Oh, nice.
Another reversal. You can tell these guys are familiar with each other in the ring and just taking whatever move is presented to them.
Yeah.
It's like chess. How do you counteract? Ooh, the big man is in.
Yeah, showing some good fundamental basics here.
I'd be nervous to see Ron Bass Jr. coming in. Look at that shot to the midsection. Swinging net breaker.
What are you looking for here, Bass Jr.?
Ooh. Whoa!
Oh, that weight on him.
And hooking the leg.
Got him. Just getting that shoulder up.
You can see this is a main event match because they got the claw in there, keeping everything under control.
That's right.
Gio coming in the ring now. It was tough. I tried chasing down Los HP for their information, and no habla inglés.
Yeah. That is
and I don't speak enough Spanish to get the information out of them.
They might not want to talk to you.
Yeah, I was trying to be cultural last episode, but that's not how they saw it. Ron Bass Jr. just sizing him up here. Gio wondering how he's going to take this guy down.
Going for the leg. That does not appear to be
It's a good idea if you take him down. Otherwise, it just puts you for that gut wrench and tossing him to the side. Doing some squats in the ring. Ooh, flexing. Showing he may be a big man, but he's got the moves behind him.
Showboating. Just like his paw.
Going for that midsection. Interesting target.
Yeah. Not gonna happen. Side headlock by Ron Bass Jr.
Cranking it in. If I were him, I would just fall right on him right now. Ooh, is he muscling out? Gio seems to be struggling.
He's trying to pull the beer. Oh, there we go.
Snuck out of it. Oh, look at Bass though. He's got him in good position.
He ain't moving.
You want to have another run, bud? Boom.
Yeah, ain't happening.
How's it feel to run into a wall? If I knew how to say crash test dummy in Spanish, I would have dropped it by now.
Oh, misdirection. Oh! Goes up.
He doesn't leave his feet often, but when he does, he is going to make you hit the mat.
He's going to make it count.
Yeah, you better call a timeout after something like that. His world just got robbed.
Letting the people know. Shut your mouth. I need a minute. People letting them know.
I think they know where it is. They're taking advantage of things, trying to give him a minute to catch his breath. He just got slammed to the mat by...
There's a claw, putting that count on him. That's 9. Oh!
She's been going the whole time. We didn't even notice. We're just sitting here jawing away.
She's not playing their games. They're starting to look for a suplex.
That's why Commissioner Dalton Kelly puts her in the main events.
Nicely done. Beautiful, as a great announcer would say, souffle. He didn't tag. He said he was stretching.
She's keeping her. You notice how she pushes him to the back, but keeps her eyes on the action.
Been around. She's a veteran referee. Been all over. DDT by Gio.
Yeah, you don't want to give him a minute. Oh,
now
teasing Ron Bass. I wouldn't want to be there in the ring when he finally does get that tag. Raining down with punches.
We want to try to get this done early. So.
Starling luckily covering up. Just because you're covering up doesn't mean you don't feel him now. Interesting. Fires him into the other corner and gets the tag. Yep. This is what it was setting up.
Using some double team offense. Cannonball in the corner.
Dragging him back to the middle of the ring.
Lazy cover.
I think that was more to taunt Ron Bass than anything.
Yeah.
Ron Bass Jr., sorry. Not that we have a legend in here, folks. But I'm just getting so caught up in this. To me, it feels like Los HP is going to take this now. I doubted them in the beginning. But it's almost like they got Bill Crude teaching them what to do. Mark of any good tag team cutting off that ring.
Sure. Starling needs to make that tag.
Gio aware of his 5 count and really flexing it to the best of his abilities. The tag. Getting that shot in, but...
Oh, ducks out.
Slipped out and got the kick.
I got all that.
See, if I were him, I thought he was going to go right for the tag, but he got that kick to create a little bit more space. It wore him out, though. Ron Bass Jr., though, getting the crowd fired up.
And he's in.
The big man is in. Oh, just as the tag to Gio is made, and shoulder shoulder.
Elbow.
Chop in there, Joe. Yeah. Boom. Big splash. It's coming Gio's way now.
Everybody's going to eat this splash.
Headbutt. Headbutt.
Reminiscent of Andre the Giant. Picks him up.
Ooh. Fireman's carry. Into a stunner there. Will we get the... I don't know if I'd pin him with the guy that close.
Nope, gotta be aware of your surroundings.
At least he's got that killer instinct to go for the pin and to hook the leg. That I like to see. His dad taught him well. Now Gio double teaming him in the corner there. Firing him into the corner. Ooh, Gio eats a boot.
Fire's back with that shoulder block.
What's going on here? Fireman's carry again. Jumping kick.
Into a Samoan drop. Combination. Stone holds the other guy down.
That is a good, it's good. You get one guy to hook the leg, you get the other guy to neutralize the opponent, and the good old boys are moving on here tonight.
Yes. Congratulations, good old boys. Good win. Exciting week of television as always.
Yeah, Leesburg High School, Leesburg, Florida, they got to see 2 matches in a tag team tournament that are going to go down in the books. And 2 teams I can't wait to see advance.
Leesburg's been good to us. Bringing that action.
Frankly, Knockout's been great, bringing us in. Rob making us part of the production team here.
Today it's all about the good old boys. They won our main event. We're happy to see them.
Good old boys and brothers in arms moving on. That I feel like we're on a crash course to see them in a future episode.
That's what first-class athletes look like. We're 1 down, 2 more to go. And after that championship match, you're new knockout tag champion.
Ron Bass Jr. calling his shot right here.
I'm sorry, it had to be you.
Well, this was a great episode.
Yeah, thank you for joining us for episode 16, and we'll see you on episode 17.
Guys, I'm just going to pop in one more time to say thank you again for joining us for the Working Fans Podcast Christmas special. This is Working Fans Saturday, and we didn't want to take Christmas off, so we brought you a clip show. Once again, like I said at the top of the show. But we did that to kind of still bring you something on a holiday. So this week, it's Working Fans Wednesday, like you've been watching. Next week, it'll be the best of Working Fans Saturday when we made that switch over. Now, it's been a great year, guys. Thank you for supporting us. We hope you continue to support us in 2022. And just have a good year. Be good to people. Guys, welcome back for another week of Working Fans Wednesday. As you can hear by my voice, I'm not going to be saying much tonight. But the one thing I do want to say is if you're looking for a great new book that just came out, Jake St. John's Night Full of Stars, it is on Amazon right now. You missed an earlier segment we filmed where AJ bought it. But guys, support a friend of the show. And we're going to get down to business early because tonight we're making up for last week. AJ had to go to Albany. I decided to take a shift. And we're going to do a 5-3-1 on a subject that we've done on the podcast, entrance themes.
One of AJ's
I'll give you mine first. I got
wait a minute.
Noros. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention something real quick.
Breaking news?
Breaking news. For those of you who are excited about Jake St. John's new book, I'm going to go on StreamYard once I get the book, and I'm going to do an audio reading of it so you can actually I'll read you guys the book so you can listen to it before you go to bed, and it'll help out a little.
I'll read the rougher poems, the one that Jake has about waking up and you don't feel right in the morning. You'll do that with that voice.
Oh, so the married poems.
We might give those to you because I could do the voice, but you could do the sadness. Now, I'm going to give you my list first because I got it right here.
Yeah,
Minoru Suzuki, that's got to be the top entrance theme. I got Stone Cold right below that. I got Bret Hart.
Oh, good choice.
I put the Von Erichs. I put the young Von
Another
Erichs
good choice.
because it's reminiscent of Kevin,
Stranglehold.
and it makes me
what?
think of the original, Stranglehold. And then how can you not have the Undertaker on a top 5 list like this?
All right. You know, it's funny. We had some similar lists here. I just went out and put Stranglehold on it because it's one of my favorites. I also had Bret Hart's theme. I have Edge's theme. And also like Undertaker. But specifically, I had when he was walking out with that Johnny Cash version for a little while. Ain't No Grave. To me, that was badass.
That's
And then I had to throw one WCW one in there, the Horseman theme. I thought they had just an awesome song. It really fit their stuff. And I'm also going to give a couple quick shout outs to Booker T. I love the Harlem Heat theme. It's also one of the longest entrance themes going into business today. Mark Henry, somebody gonna get their ass kicked. And a modern theme, Hangman Page. I love that song. Makes me think that we're have to go to Old West and some shit. I love it. So that's my list.
All right, so let's get to the good list. I also have Stranglehold. It's just one of the best, catchiest wrestling songs of all time. I went opposite of Edge. I went with Randy Orton. I actually like the Randy Orton theme song. I know a lot of people don't.
I don't hear voices.
Yes. Well, for those of us that do, that song hits home.
That's pretty good.
And then I went a little bit different. I have an old WCW song, and this is just personal favorite of mine. It's Barry Windham's theme song off the Slam Jam album.
The fucking Slam Jam album was
fantastic.
the worst, bro.
Greatest album of all time.
It's so bad.
That's this one will probably get us canceled, but I love Slick's entrance music.
Jive Soul Bro.
Jive Soul Bro. So this might be our final week with the cancel culture, but I love that song. And then my number one song of all time, and it's the one that gets me off my seat every time. How do you not pop for Ric Flair's music? That's
I know it's got to be one of my favorite movies. And then for Flair to co-opt it for his music, I've loved it since.
Oh, wait! Breaking news! I got breaking news for you.
Flair's not gone, is he?
Jake St. John rule coming into effect here. We've got the Great American for Hulk Hogan. If you were a kid in the 80s and you didn't pop with Real American came on, there was something wrong with you.
You don't have a theme, Randy.
Actually,
his theme is his wife's voice from the other room.
Actually, if Dave remembered from the show that he came to,
I don't.
I came out to Buffalo Soldier.
I did not remember that. I did not remember that.
I actually came out to Buffalo Soldier. That was actually my theme song.
Might have been another night.
God, I see you coming out to like Public Enemy or something.
Hey, I just want to say, I know we got a lot of stuff going on tonight, and I know we got a special thing we want to bring up later, a special idea for our fans. We're going to have a little fun later. But I think the clear winner, even though we're going to pick one, it's Stranglehold. It was on our list. So, boom, suck it in.
Yeah, I'm willing to go with that. But tell me you didn't go crazy when you just heard, when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
I got some break. I do want to shout out. It's not breaking news. It's already been announced today. But I want one on a shout out today too. Shout out. That's right. Not the Kali though. That's that. Kane is going to Hall of Fame. Shout out to Kane. As we discussed before on this podcast, me and AJ, he is the greatest mass wrestler of all time. So very happy about
also going to pass Mil Mascaras and become the greatest luchador inside the WWE Hall of Fame. So congratulations, Mayor Kane. However,
oh wow, Josh DeBoard coming in with a hot take. Great American's a classic.
Hogan was overrated. The theme 100%. Song, however.
All right, guys, before we get into AJ's segment, Randy Osga had a quick question for us, and we're just going to rapid fire an answer for this. If you were the manager for any wrestler alive or dead, who would it be? I'm going to go first, Chris Benoit.
You son of a fucking bitch. Literally, that was the first thing that popped into my head. was Chris Benoit. And the
Chris
reason
Benoit,
why,
sponsored by the Working Fans podcast, naturally.
so I'm going to pick Chris Benoit also. And the reason why was because as a manager, it would be such a great chance for you to get over somebody else's abilities. You're talking about a wrestler who was a wrestler.
Yeah, I'd like to follow her to the ring too.
They said manager, Josh, manager. However, for Chris Benoit, you would have a chance to get him over every night and be his mouthpiece for what is the greatest working machine ever in wrestling.
Okay, I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna try to actually make money. So because AJ, first off,
you're gonna go with a man that still has a family.
No, I know. Here's the thing. AJ wouldn't make sense. He's twice the size of Chris Benoit. It would look weird. I don't know who AJ actually manages, but I would say get a giant. Now, for me, I look at myself, redheaded kid, allergies, right? What's going to get the most heat? I'm going to come out with a guy like Brian Cage. Or,
I thought you were going to say Terry Taylor.
Yeah, no, fucking Terry Taylor.
I thought it was going to be Primo and Epico. He's going to come with his countrymen.
He's going to get our asses beat. No,
Carlito.
I want a fucking heater. I want Brian Cage. You can even go back. I'll take a Sid or somebody like that. I want somebody that's huge, and I'm just going to be an annoying guy who pisses off people like MJF.
I'm going to
that's
give
the package. Or the only other thing that would annoy people more,
like AJ Stainsbury.
Get me Alexa Bliss.
I'm going to give Dave a compliment here. I think Dave would have been a great manager for somebody like Sid or somebody of that nature, because with the size difference and with the way Dave can talk, I think he absolutely would have pulled off the Harvey Whippleman.
You sons of bitches don't know. I got the man who rules the world, baby.
All right, now, AJ, you got a segment for us you want to drop?
I got a segment for you. So I went over and I cleaned out Dave's closet. A lot of people don't know.
Get out of there. I got some weird shit in there.
Well, he did have some weird
broken
shit in there.
pieces of the bed in there.
We had to reinforce that.
I found two things of interest in there. I found a lot of this.
You'll find that out throughout the house. Must not be looking too hard.
but I also found 30-year-old pack of WCW trading cards. These are actually from 1991. There's no gum in this, thank God. I think it disintegrated.
That shit would be decrepit.
I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna tell who's inside it. Dave is gonna pick whichever two wrestlers he wants, and we're gonna debate who had the better career.
I'm gonna love if this is gonna be like Fred Oatman and Ric Flair.
And this is wild because usually I'm pretty good with prepared.
There's no way we don't even know.
Yeah,
Dave, look who the first card is.
Dutch Mantel.
It's Doom.
Oh, so we got a tag team. Okay.
We got Ron Simmons.
But you got one dude on the card.
It's only so it's just Ron.
No. It's actually both. It's Doom. So where's the camera? There's the camera.
Okay, yeah.
We've got Flying Brian.
Wow. There's only two of the card?
Iron Anderson.
Oh, shit. Wow. Okay.
Missy Hyatt.
Fuck out of here.
Hey, turn that Missy Hyatt card around. Let's see what's on the front.
It's actually
You're giving us the business end.
It's actually Missy and good old JR.
Fuck it. Put that card down. That ain't
Speaking of heat, the Southern Boys.
Yeah, that'll get over now.
Oh, wait a minute.
Tracy Smothers and Scott Armstrong. Or Steve Armstrong.
You thought this pack was going to suck. Ric Flair.
Okay.
Well, yeah, wow.
Ric Flair. All right, so
Sid Vicious.
Wow, we have to pick two.
How many cards came in this pack?
Hold on. Sting.
Okay. Well, at least I know who the two are right now. I have to pick.
Wait a minute. You want to do a tag team? We got Doom, the Steiner brothers.
Wow.
Jesus.
Oh, and a guy they're trying to get into the Hall of Fame, Lex Luger.
Wait, let me ask you.
You're going to have to step his game up.
Now, am I picking the two guys with the great, or I can pick two random guys and we'll discuss who had the greatest career?
Any two you want from this pack, we will go head to head and figure out who had the better career.
Okay. Then that's a little different. Then let's do. I'm not because to me,
I almost
it's
want to
Flair
put
and
Doom
Sting.
versus Steiner brothers.
We can do Doom versus the Steiner brothers.
We can do that. Let's do that. Doom versus Steiner
brothers.
Let's do it.
Okay. Who do you want?
Hey, I never remember getting a pack of cards that was that stacked ever.
Dude,
that was star after star after star.
I don't think.
I was expecting Bob Cook, friend of the show. We didn't get him.
That would have been a hell of a card to get too.
I think Dave might be frozen.
He's just frozen in shock right now. He can't believe
He can't believe we got that pack.
And that's kind of wild with Butch Reed dying so recently.
Butch Reed died recently. They really are trying to push to get Lex Luger into the WWE Hall of Fame right now.
There he is. He's back.
I'm back, baby. I'm back.
They're gonna have to push him onto the stage too to get him to the Hall of Fame.
That's the new Lex Express.
You got Sting, who has actually come back to wrestle. Hey, by the way, Eric Clark, what's up, man? How you doing, Eric Clark?
Eric Clark, baby. Shout out. Dave looks weird. Yeah, that was frozen, you asshole.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that psychedelic intro.
Yeah, baby.
We got the art of Jake St. John, Night Full of Diamonds, and we got the man himself here. First off, how's everybody doing tonight? Jake, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
No problem.
Jake is a long-time wrestling fan too, right? I mean, this isn't like a hard thing for him.
He's clearly also joining us from Parts Unknown.
Exactly, Parts Unknown Studio.
Wearing the Minoru Suzuki shirt. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, guys, tonight we are going to be talking Undisputed Era because WrestleMania weekend is right around the corner. TakeOver is one of the biggest matches, O'Reilly versus Cole. How long have all you guys been aware of everybody in the Undisputed Era?
Oh God, Ring of Honor days for sure. I didn't see a lot of their PWG stuff. Like I know Cole and O'Reilly and Strong were all big over there along with Fish. But one of the first Ring of Honor shows I ever went up to was in Rhode Island, and it had Fish and O'Reilly on there as Red Dragon. So.
That's probably my favorite team of the group. I always enjoyed Red Dragon. I like that style. It reminded me a lot of the strong style from Japan. I like the combinations of moves, and the fact that both of them have that realistic just background is amazing to me.
When they came in to NXT the first time, though, like I think Fish and O'Reilly both, I don't know if they were given tryout matches, but they both had matches on TV. Nothing was really done with them, but
they both lost to the same guy week after week.
It was like good offense, and then it was funny because then Cole, basically they jumped Drew McIntyre, and I just remember they were all together. It's like, whoa, okay, we are doing a big deal with these guys. AJ's he's had enough.
He had enough of your bullshit. He's like, I'm getting out of here. I don't believe this.
Yeah, he's going to look it up, but that's what happened.
Now, what's crazy is O'Reilly and Cole debuted in 2010 as Future Shock.
Yes.
And I wasn't familiar with them then.
I only found out about them, I think it was in American Wolves, and then from there, Red Dragon. They were feuding. Or there might have been a match in Japan, American Wolves against Red Dragon, and then carrying over to Ring of Honor. Like Adam, like AJ, like you said, the whole the strong style. They just were a unique team with just a different style of offense. And I immediately, and like Dave, like you just said, coming on NXT, that first, I think O'Reilly debuted first. And when he lost, I was like, oh, that's what they're going to do with them. I was really bummed because I figured with NXT, I had good faith in them, and then it all worked out pretty well. I think.
To be honest with you, one of the teams that they remind me of the most was, for you longtime fans, Furnace and LaFon.
Yes.
They very much reminded me of that style that you saw in the late 90s from those two. Not necessarily their WWE run, but their time in Japan.
They did a lot of stuff too. I mean, similar, like I would say, like the Midnight Express with the high-low. Even Anderson's working body parts and stuff like that. But
the
just their own little
too.
twist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Eliminators.
Very
Absolutely.
much.
Yeah. So just so much.
They were like
stuff.
they were like the Eliminators without the steroids.
And O'Reilly, you can see that heavy MMA training that he goes through, like
jiu-jitsu,
very present in his style.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Bobby Fish has the greatest wrestling nickname, the Infamous.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the
that's
greatest
fantastic.
wrestling mustache, I think.
Yep.
I believe Bobby Fischer comes from that Rochester area, also somewhere around that area, up in that upstate New York, where a lot of those guys learn to work that single body part, work that same style of wrestling, and a lot of good training up there.
Too, one guy we're not talking about too is Roderick Strong. To me, like the messiah of the backbreaker, right? Like I remember his early TNA days, and I thought he was the man. And it was funny, like when he first got to NXT, he was another one. I'm like, he was winning matches, but I was like, I don't know. But man, when he turned on, oh god, the big guys he was winning at War Games there.
Authors of Pain.
Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
Why did I mess that up with an author on our show? But they had that, and like he went over to the Undisputed Era, like. Then it was like, okay, now he's cooking. And to me, all these guys just click so well together.
By the way, if I'm going into a War Games match, I'm taking Randy Osgood with me.
And Randy has a good point that they did make the NXT version of the War Games because they've been in every one.
Yeah.
And they've put on a hell of a performance in each one.
Sure.
And it was nice because when you saw all those ROH guys come together, you're like, thank God. Like, I was worried that something was going to be lost in their style in NXT or in the WWE system overall. But
I worry about the future of them. Yeah. Like, they've had such a great run in NXT, but they've done everything. And now we're coming to the climax. And I think it's built so well. And Cole, he's always been the man. But O'Reilly, to me, really has stepped up with these matches with Balor. And now we're just cooking, and we got this feud, and they're doing such a great job with it. And I love it, and I look forward to it. And Peacock, you got my money. I'm going to watch this. But, like, I worry about the end, like, after this is over.
Yeah, where do they go from here?
I like how Kyle O'Reilly, his look, how he's adapted his look since definitely drawing a line between Undisputed Era and now where Kyle's at. It'll be interesting to see where the character goes.
He kind of reminds me of the game, right? With the jean jacket and everything like that. Yep. Back in the day. Good, AJ.
Yeah, that's no. I was just gonna say I don't want to see them go up until Vince is dead. I
Vince
see them considering, and I don't want to bring up Raw because Raw's the drizzling shits. But the one highlight that we've had on Raw is the Hurt Business and the.
All right, everybody, it's the Working Fans Podcast, and pardon the last interruption here, but we just want to say Merry Christmas, and we are going to end this year like we kicked it off with a report card on wrestling. AJ on location, as always. What's up?
I'm always on location. And pardon the interruption. Merry Christmas to you, and maybe in the new year you'll get lucky and we'll stretch you the way you should be.
Absolutely. It's stretched. All right. So actually, before we started, we were talking about lookalikes before this, right? And
yes.
It has been compared to Tim Robbins, Will Ferrell when he was younger, and Ole Anderson. And I
get Ole Anderson now from fans of wrestling.
Yes.
Random people don't come up to me and just go, Ole Anderson.
Yeah. I've been the skinny kid from Harry Potter, Weisman, and Chuck Norris, which is all across the board. Which I think that doesn't mean people just think all redheads look alike.
I think that's what it is. I think it's basically if you have red hair, you look like every other redheaded person ever. Although nobody looks like Carrot Top. That motherfucker looks like an alien.
Yeah, I saw something with him this week. Yeah, he's a different breed. And if you want to get jacked as a redhead, I think if you're jacked as a redhead, I wonder if you look like Carrot Top.
Nothing will help your comedy career like getting super jacked up.
All right, let's get to this report card. It was interesting. So before we give a final grade, let's just talk about some of the good and some of the bad. All right, the good, AEW fans back. That's huge compared to last year. Companies working together more. We saw this at the tail end of last year, but it really, this was all over the place this year.
New Japan, Impact Pro Wrestling, AEW, Ring of Honor, which is not what it once was, MLW, all of those, AAA, all of them seem to be willing to work with other federations to put out the best wrestling product possible. And I think that is great for the world of wrestling.
Yeah, great for fans, great for the wrestlers. And I think that's definitely some of the best stuff we've seen. Some of the worst things, WWE letting go of people this year.
Well, it's good for them.
Yeah, right. Some of these people I probably didn't want to let get let go. You do have to.
I mean, Kyle O'Reilly this week, the week that we were taping or going live with this, Kyle O'Reilly looked a lot happier than he ever has, and that's exciting.
Well, I mean, he's debuting for a new company. I mean, of course he's going to.
Yeah.
But Kyle O'Reilly's not, not everybody's Kyle O'Reilly, too. You don't have a built-in storyline right before you.
Well, it's also easy to say, the cuts, but we got to look at what the problem is behind the cuts.
Well, but I mean, let's talk about that for a second, too. Like, I mean, like a guy like Braun Strowman. Like, he's not getting picked up by AEW right now. I mean, that's not as good for him.
Because the price tag that it would cost to pick him up.
Right.
Compared to what he's actually worth to generate is not worth it. And he doesn't really fit in with what AEW has done.
Right.
They already have one monster that they don't really use in Lance Archer. Yeah, they have a tendency of going more towards the wrestlers that actually can work.
And another thing too, Nia Jax. I know you're not a big fan of her. I'm not either. But to my point, and I mean in the ring, people, I don't know her personally, but in the ring, like, but
I'll rate him. Nia Jax sucks.
But I mean, like, what is I'm sure she's upset she got cut. You know what I mean? She's probably going to business.
Well, especially when she was willing to give her ass up for it. I mean, it's when you hurt your tailbone like that consistently, my goodness.
There's people I'm sure that it sucks getting cut. I don't think it's the ideal. Maybe for a few people.
So where I was going with this before is what was causing the cuts. The people don't think about the behind the scenes when it comes to the WWE, and they don't think about the corporate entity. Everybody blames Vince McMahon, and don't get me wrong, Vince has got some bad ideas, but the worst idea that he has right now is he has corporate people in his ear that are telling him where to make cuts, who's analytically not valuable, who is valuable, and they're making extreme cuts with that. We've had people come up, make their debuts, and they're gone 3 weeks later.
You know what's interesting is Robert Carper was guest of the show recently, and Eric Bischoff both heard made this brought up this point recently that one of the things that Tony Khan has an advantage over Vince, and a lot of people have an advantage over is that they're not a publicly traded company.
Yeah,
and Vince especially has this responsibility to stockholders and shareholders that like with Tony and other companies, you're playing with your own money basically.
But it's a double-edged sword because Vince wouldn't have made the money that he made and gotten to where he got to and had the freedom that he had if he didn't open it up to get the money from being a publicly traded company. But now, unfortunately, he's got to listen to them when it comes to making decisions when it comes to financial background.